And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man, DL Saint. Welcome. DL Saint, I really want no podcast. What's good, y'all? How you feeling? Brother Dino Dinosaur was here early. He was asking me about Picard. Brother DL, did you watch Picard? It's the best season so far. I have not watched it, bro. I'm waiting for the season to be over. I'm gonna watch it all in one sitting. I'm gonna binge it. Because I heard I knew it had the potential to be good. They're bringing back all of the it looks like they're bringing back all of the stars from Generations, which is my favorite of all of the series on Star Trek. That's my Star Trek. That's my favorite is Generation, Picard, and the crew. And it looks like they're all coming back. So I'm waiting until all episodes are up, and then I'm gonna watch them all in one sitting, and we'll definitely gonna talk about it, bro. So what's up with you? What's up with everybody? How y'all feeling? Happy Tuesday. I hope all is well out there. That's for everybody. Nice little horn blast. Um, yeah, man, we had a show yesterday. We were talking about uh the dating game, the sexual marketplace, and how there's been extreme changes in the dating game, y'all. Extreme. And Pew Research has some new studies out there, and they're like from I think from the ages of 18 to 28, I think it is. That cohort of men, 60 plus percent, I think it was 60 or 63% of men are single. The women in that same group, only 20% of them are single, are reporting that they are single. So what does that tell you? You know what I mean? It kind of just tells you that people are men are invisible. Young women don't want to deal with young men. And I saw something in that yesterday in that episode. I was saying, hey, at some point, mainstream media is going to cover this because mainstream media is watching what YouTube is doing. Even though YouTube is smaller, mainstream media is watching what YouTube is doing. And so MIQ today, boom, up pops this article, this video for this clip from CNN talking about this very subject. And I'm like, oh, that's what I'm gonna talk about today. Like, look like mainstream media is all over this already. So if CNN is talking about it, eventually Fox will talk about it, MSNBC will talk about it, and then ABC, CBS, and NBC will talk about it. BBC will catch on to it. So it's just one of those things that looks like that this is truly a problem. Talking about these invisible men, and there's only one way, gentlemen, to be seen by women in today's marketplace, bro. You have to level up. You have to be the best version of yourself just to get a shot. This isn't going to guarantee you success, but it will get you seen. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We got Sister Candace in the house. What's good, sis? How you feeling? Good to see you. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for being here and coming through. I had some problems with my equipment. Last week? I'm gonna have to go back in and reprogram my mic because I had the levels set at a certain way. I'm gonna have to go back in there and reset those levels. But I mean, it sounds okay. I've been listening to it. I watched my own replays. I just wanted to throw that in there. Man, let's delve into this, yo. I got it all set up. Let's pull this up. We're going to be talking about what I saw on CNN is right here. Why the rate of single men in the U.S. looking for dates has declined. I'm going to link this in the chat. Let me put this in the chat right now, as a matter of fact, so people can check this out at your leisure. It's one of those things where this is a problem. This is a straight up problem, y'all. If we don't fix this is only going to hurt America. There's the link right there. If you guys want to check it out. And again, it's from CNN. If we don't do something about this, people, our society is going to continue to crumble. We can't operate as an effective society, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. We can't operate like this. You can't have the majority of men who are, sexually unattractive, financially unattractive, virtually invisible to the majority of women. That just doesn't work for our society. We need men. There are a lot of feminists out there like, we don't need men. Yes, you do. If you want plumbing, if you want your electricity to work when you flick the switch, right? If you want your car to get serviced properly, right? If you want someone to be building and innovating and creating things, you're going to need men. You're gonna need men, ladies. It's just how it works. It just when women just don't think about the question really deeply, they just think, ah, my last boyfriend did me wrong, so I think all men are bad. We don't need men. Well, no, you do. Who's gonna pick up the trash? Who's gonna come, suck out all the poop from your septic tank? Who's gonna come fix your septic tank? Who's gonna do the yard work? Who's gonna build the house? Who's gonna build the Walmart? Who's gonna build the Target? Who's gonna do that? These fields are dominated by men. I mean, ladies, if you're gonna get rid of men, y'all gonna have to step up and do these things. Um, it is what it is. But let's get into this. It starts off talking about dating. And like I said, this is some real good stuff. Let's make sure the volume is up. And yeah, let's get into this, y'all. Let's check this out.
The story reported that as of 2022, Pew Research Center found 30% of U.S. adults are neither married, living with a partner, nor engaged in a committed relationship. Nearly half of all young adults are single. Now, look at these numbers.
A lot of young men who are terrible.
Sir Scott, case scenario.
Sorry about that, y'all.
Other troubling statistics.
Sorry about that, y'all. I put my cursor at the wrong place. I wanted to stop it on a chart. And here's the chart right here. And let me make this bigger so you guys can see this chart. This chart shows, and this is Pew Research information right here. And it breaks down 3 in 10 Americans report being single, but this varies by age, gender, and it shows the percentage of U.S. adults who say they are single, right? And they're talking about the age group 18 to 29, right? And that's the core of the story. But if you're looking here and it breaks it down by race. So it says white, 27% of U.S. adults say they're single. Hispanic, 32% say they're single. Asian, 29%. Black, 47%. 47% report being single. Yo, we got some work to do in our community. What's going on? 47%. And these are adults. So it's not like they were just talking to, this is men and women. They weren't just going out talking to men on this one. This is it says 28% of women overall say they're single versus 32% of men overall say they're single. And it says U.S. adults, 30% say that they're single. It's a lot of numbers here, but let's continue.
I pulled the Pew study and I read with interest. Turns out since 2019, the share of single men who say they're looking for dates or a relationship has declined from 61% to 50%. In 2018, 28% of men ages 18 to 30 reported they'd had no sex in the past year, compared with 18% of women of that age.
And that number we're all familiar with over here. Anybody who's on the the manosphere side, the red pill side, we hear these numbers over and over and over again. So yeah, most men in America, a third of men in America are sexless over the past year.
The Hill report said men in their 20s are more likely than women in their 20s to be romantically uninvolved, sexually dormant, friendless, and lonely. They stand at the vanguard of an epidemic of declining marriage, sexuality, and relationships that afflicts all of young America.
All of young America. Like, it's crazy out here what's going on with the dating world. Now, for those who are in relationships and those who are married, or a long-term relationship or whatever, man, good for you. Good for you. Stay that way. Don't get out of it. Stay that way. But for everyone else, we got work to do. So this article kind of goes into why. So that's basically the premise, man. They kind of started off there talking about what the dating world is looking like. And when you look at those numbers, when you look at, the 20% or so of women who are not in a relationship, that's like 80%. Between 70 and 80% of women between 18 and 28 are in relationships, right? We already know that women go after the top 20 guys, top 20%, top tier dudes. So a lot of those women may be sharing some of those guys. I mean, you have some women who are dating other women. You have some women who just, are abstaining. And of course you have women who are dating older men, but a lot of the older men, younger, older, doesn't matter with men. The top 20% of all men are the ones that women find most attractive. And they kind of they pursue. So, or allow themselves to be caught. I mean, we could put it that way. So, man, this stuff is crazy. So, there was this article or this video brought up another data point that I wasn't aware of, and it's about friendships. Let's check this out.
Troubling statistics about men come from a 2021 study from the Survey Center for American Life. They found the share of men who have 6 or more close friends, which in 1990 was 55%, by 2021 had shrunk by half. Meanwhile, those with literally 0 close friends, which stood at 3% in 1990, has zoomed to 15%. And
yo, that right there is insane, but it makes sense. Like Gen Xers and all the generations before us went outside and played. Maybe the Gen Y, Gen X, and I guess Generation Y, and I guess they went out some, but as the other generations came online, they didn't go outside. So how you're gonna form these friendships? You got a lot of kids, not a lot, but some kids are being homeschooled. Parents weren't allowing their kids to play sports, organized sports. You're not playing baseball, basketball. You're not playing football. You're not playing soccer or whatever, like for dudes. So how can you form these bonds? I was talking about this on one of the shows recently. You know, the reason that I know how to talk to women, the reason that I am a good womanizer, if there's such a thing, is because I was out with my crew, and my crew basically showed me how to do it. We were out there learning it together, my close friends. And you would always have close friends as you move up. You go from, you got your friends in elementary school, then you go to middle school. You got your friends there. Some might still be there, some might fall off. Then you go to high school. You know what I mean? Same thing. You know what I mean? Through, your freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior year. Then some go on to college, some go off to trade school, some go off to the military or whatever. But wherever you go, you wind up, you form these friendships, these bonds, close friendships, people you could trust, people you could talk to. That's very scary that young men today don't have any peers that they can talk to. This is a problem. This is a real problem. So, when I'm listening to this and I'm like, yo, these data points are scary. So let's jump to the next one. When they bring on Brother Scott, who is basically the man, I've seen him speak on this on multiple platforms in the mainstream, and he's about to really break it down for us, and he has some good stuff. Sister Candace, it's all fine and dandy for the MSM to diverge these statistics about sexless, relationshipless men. However, they aren't being transparent about why these statistics exist, what's driving it. Okay, let's see. Let's continue and see if they cover that a little bit. Great point, sis. Really good point.
But the issue is when you have a group of men, the lower half of attractiveness of men, and online dating, which has doubled, now it's about half of relationships, and the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest. You end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content, more prone to not believe in climate change. So this is the American story. If it's written with a pen whose ink is failing young men, does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
So there it is right there. He gives us a little taste of it. Right there it is right there. We are, as a society, it seems, we are failing young men. It's kind of like Sister Candace says. We have all this information. It's all well and dandy. We got our numbers, but what does it mean, and what are we prepared to do about it? And I think that's what he was trying to kind of touch on. And that was from last year. That clip, that part of the clip was video from last year when they talked about this. And then, of course, they brought him on, Brother Galloway. And like I said, you guys should watch this full clip. I did clip it in the I linked it in the chat. Watch the whole thing. Brother Galloway was on Bill Maher last year talking about the same thing. He's talking about sexless men and what, this group of invisible men that are out there and how dangerous that could be. So let's continue.
What's changed?
First off, Mike, I just want to say thank you for raising this issue a year ago when a lot of media companies were afraid to talk about this for fear of it being pro-men was somehow being anti-women. Look, this is returning to the natural order of things. For the majority of history, a small percentage of men have had the majority of the mating opportunities, but in America,
Now we've heard that a bunch of times too, right? Say what you want about the manosphere, say what you want about Rollo Tomasi, Rich Cooper, Fresh and Fit, and all the rest of them, but they're not lying. Throughout the history of our species, like top tier men have had an abundance of women, and the guys at the bottom pretty much got nothing. They got to go, you know what I mean, throw themselves onto a sword or you know what I mean, get themselves deleted over some war that benefits the nobles, right? At least back then, the nobles were out there in the battlefield with you, riding their horse and, you know, in armor and leading from the front. But still, the noble had something to fight for. He was fighting for, you know, his land. He was fighting for his title in his name. He was fighting for his women. So our society had to get to a point like, man, we're going to have to give some access, you know what I mean, to these bottom dudes. Let these dudes get some wives. So that's part of it. And in sister content, she's like, yeah, misogynistic content. You know, this is mainstream. They're going to have to do what they got to do. They got to get that in there. A woman's standards are never referred to as misandry. Never. Unless you're on this side of the internet. Facts. You know what I mean? And let's keep it 100. There are some dudes, some black pill dudes who are gloomy doom, and some really hurt dudes out there who come off as if they hate women. There are some. They're not a lot. You know what I mean? But there are some. And those dudes are weird. Let's keep it 100. Like, come on, bro. You mad? You know what I mean? You mad? Want to take your toys home and go home? All right, go home. Get your toys and go home. But the majority of men over there, at least the guys I've come across, they're simply trying to figure it out. These dudes really want to have a woman. They want to start a family. They want a woman that has their back and a woman that loves, honors, and respects them. So those are the guys that I'm encountering. Yeah, there's some dudes over there that hate women. I pretty much stay away from those dudes. Brother Dino Dinosaur, Sister Candace, MSM can push news and products to the specific male, sells the data as a bonus. Yeah. Facts. But let's continue.
America, we decided to make a huge investment in what would probably be the greatest innovation in history, and that is in the middle class. From 1945 to 1947, 7 million men returned from war, were discharged from the service, and we decided to give them the GI Bill, subsidized mortgages. We saw education rates go from 5 to 45%. They were valued, and we had such a strong manufacturing base that you had massive marriage and household formation. And some men were seen as more economically and emotionally viable. And
he's got a good point. You know, he's talking about World War II. When people came home from World War II, there were all these incentives, and there was plenty of work. You know what I mean? Men came home from war, and the women were told to get out of the factories and get back into the homes. That did happen. GI Bills was available to soldiers, so soldiers could get homes. So there was this huge boom as far as the economy went, as far as homes and all that. That's when suburbs came about and freeways and all that kind of stuff. All that happened after the war. And, you know, education for men, and men were, you know, they were getting these great jobs and doing great things. You know, that was like the heyday for unions. These military guys were coming home and they were forming unions and they were doing all sorts of stuff, right? They had wives. Now, so they're like, I see where they're coming from, but the biggest thing from the way I see it is what's happened with social media and what's going on now with the way we meet. And they're going to talk about this in a little bit, the way we interact with one another. That's the big change. Hypergamy on steroids is the big change, right? So, and the fact that, you know, women are encouraged to go out there and get their own, which is also makes issues for this thing, because you have women who get in their own. It's like, I really don't need a man. I don't need one. Okay, do I kind of want one? Yeah, but I only want this type of dude. And if I can't get him, I don't want anybody. I'll get a dog, or I get a cat, or I get a ferret, or whatever. You know what I mean? A couple guinea pigs. But let's continue.
Seen the reverse happen with the offshoring of much of our manufacturing base, with a society that quite frankly doesn't value young men. When we talk about problems with people of color or women, we see it as a systemic societal problem. When we see problems or the stats that you just mentioned, we see it as accountability, or the men just need to level up. But married households and household formation are better citizens. They vote, they save at twice the rate, they're less likely to commit crimes. And we have fewer and fewer viable men. We have a dearth of economically and emotionally viable men. But the middle class is an accident. Unless you invest in it, it doesn't happen.
Right. And like you said, the middle class is an accident. It goes into what we talked about before, all the money that was placed into growth after the Second World War, which benefited men tremendously, and they went out and got it done. I thought that was funny. But like he said, no one cares about these dudes. These dudes are truly invisible. No one seems to care. You know what I mean? Like the manosphere is growing at a rapid rate. Like look at Fresh and Fit. 1.2 million subscribers. This was done in like just a little over 2 years, right? I think like 2.5 years or so. Look at Just Pearly Things, even though she's female. Just Pearly Things, over 1 million subscribers, and she did that in a little over a year. Over 1 million subscribers with, Red Pill Talking Points. So there are a lot of men and some women. We got sisters like, Sister Candace, Sister Tia Kiki. We got, Miss Globe Girl, Miss AKA Lady. You know what I mean? You got platforms like Melanie King. She dabbles on the red pill side a little bit. She's a realist, more of a, Kevin, like a disciple of Kevin Samuels, doing the same thing. Which all these platforms, even someone like me, a rookie to this space, coming over here, what are we all trying to do? We're trying to encourage men to level up. Scott Galloway is saying, well, you just tell men to level up. They need to hear it. They need to break away from, from their moms, their dads, if they're those bulldozer parents, those hovering helicopter parents, need to break free from those parents and understand what's really going on out here in the real world. Man, it's crazy. It is crazy. Sister Candace, they only need a man to satisfy their biological imperatives of becoming a mother. Yeah, some. Sister Candace, I am not speaking for all women, but many modern women have this dismissive opinion of men. Yes, they do. I come across them often. Often. I'm always talking about the Latin spot I go to. I go there, I dance, I salsa, merengue, bachata, all that good stuff. And I would say 85% of the women I meet in there are just really cool, down to earth. They're in there to dance, have a good time. They ain't really trying to holler. Not, not really. Their primary goal is to go in there and dance the night away. But when still 15% of women in there are just these modern women who, you can just feel it. You see it. It's like an aura they carry with them. Like, I'm staying away from her. You know what I mean? I don't want nothing to do with her. And they'll come, they'll sit, close to you in your vicinity. They'll get up in your orbit. They're trying to get you to ask them to dance because they're not going to ask you. They want you to ask them. You know what I mean? And nah, man, I see them coming. I go the other way. It's just, I don't want that masculine energy, and you can feel it. You know what I mean? And I hate talking in those terms like energy, this and that, but you can feel it, their energy, their vibe, their way. You know what I mean? They come over there and it's like, yo, shorty, nah, I ain't really trying to deal with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. I'm gonna go talk to that feminine woman over there who's real cool. And I'm gonna go ask her to dance. And she's not gonna look me up and down and act all funny, which is weird because these women want you to come talk to them. And you come over and talk to them, they want to come off a certain way. That negativity is just, So these guys are sick of dealing with that. For those who do even try to venture out, these guys want to know, how do you recover? How do you deal with this? How do you move in today's world? And that's what's going on in the manosphere slant mano swamp today. You know what I mean? It's a lot of dudes out there trying to learn. Let's jump ahead. There's like one last little segment I wanted to cover on here, and then we can talk a little bit more and then probably wrap it up. Here we go, right here.
Oh, it's been the chaser to it. I mean, to have an honest conversation about this, we have to be honest, and that is that men and women have different mating criteria. 1/4 of men saying economic viability is a key criteria in a mate. 3/4 of women say that is important. And
that's real important right there, right? You hear this question all the time on any, red pill YouTube channel, and they're sitting there talking with women. Dudes don't care about how much money women make. And he just said it. Then you look at the stats. 1/4 of men care about how much money their potential spouse makes. Like, it actually makes a difference in their mate selection. 1/4, whereas 3/4 of women care. So the majority of dudes don't care. The top tier guys really don't care. They care less how much money a woman makes. They could care less, right? They're interested in, is she pretty, right? Is she fit? Is she feminine, right? Will she bring me peace? You know what I mean? Like, will she embarrass me? You know, they don't want women that's going to embarrass them. This is what men are looking for, right? Women are looking for all sorts of other things. You got to be taller than me. You know what I mean? You got to be in shape. You got to be, well, you have to make 6 figures or more. You have to be charming. You have to be funny. You have to be protective. You have to, be able to fight like Bruce Lee. Whatever. You got to know how to dress properly. There's so many. Their list is long and varied. And it changes from day to day, moment to moment, hour to hour. So, yeah, he's right about that. Let's continue.
When you're on a 2-dimensional format where now it's 1 and 2 relationships begin online, it used to be 1 and 4 just a few years ago, it gets distilled down to a small number of criteria. Specifically for men, it's does she look attractive? And specifically for men, is he able to signal his ability to garner resources in the future? And
right, that's what he's talking about. When men are putting themselves out there, and this is the stuff that we teach dudes. If you're watching this on 10 replay, bro, holla at me. We'll show you how to do this, man. You don't lead with your wallet, but you have to figure out a way to demonstrate your ability to do these things. Don't lead with your wallet. Don't go out there paying for stuff because you'll get finessed, but you need to be able to demonstrate that you can pay for stuff. And how do you do it? Well, there's a way. You know what I mean? There's a way to do it. There are many ways to do it. But this is what men need to learn. And you're only going to learn it if you get out here in these trenches, bro. You're not going to learn it from sitting in the house or sitting in your mom's basement.
an average attractive male on Tinder gets swiped less than 1% of the time. And there's 3 men on Tinder for every 1 woman. So you've distilled it, you've taken out one of the key components of mating dynamics, and that is vibe, humor, body language, pheromones, the ability to be, quite frankly, a little bit persistent in the pursuit.
Got it. All those stuff he said, being persistent. Being persistent. That's one of the things that I saw early on. Like, man, these guys who are really getting after it and being persistent, they have a little bit of success. The girls will be like, ooh, get away from me, get away from me. But, you know what I mean? The following week, you see them walking around the school, you know, holding hands and talking. And they're, you know, she's wearing this jacket and stuff like that. Like, whoa, I thought she was like, get away from me. So that dude was persistent and he got on. Miss Globe Girls in the house. What's good, love? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. So, but now, I mean, everything, you can't, how are you going to be persistent online? You get blocked. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying be aggressive, but there's a way. I've seen dudes who just, their game was like, they was just right there, man. They would just holla until she finally like, all right, let me give him a chance. These are things that I learned early on. Let's continue.
Of a romantic relationship. We have no third places anymore, no places to meet. People aren't going to bars, they aren't sports league, they aren't going to church, they aren't even going to work. So it gets distilled down to very 1 or 2 dimensional attributes. And the reality is women are much choosier than men, and they can apply those screens and they allocate all of their attention to a small number of men that results in just essentially at the end of the day, a lack of opportunities. Chris Williamson,
He's right. There's a lack of opportunities for the bottom 80 dudes. And I mean, man, he's so right on this stuff. Like, you can't, when I was coming up, we would, you know, you meet them at school or you go to a dance or someone's party or a barbecue, you go to church, you know what I mean? And then, like, you know, when we got older, you would go to work. Right. I came up, I worked at a fast food joint. I worked at plenty of them, but there's one in particular, Frisch's. When I was a senior in high school, I worked at Frisch's. It was like Bob's Big Boy out west, but, you know, but in Cincinnati, we call it Frisch's. And I ran the drive-thru. And when I mean by ran the drive-thru, I was a high school senior. I wrote the schedule. I had 2 adults, like 2 full-time employees that worked the drive-thru area that were under me. And everybody else, it was like 6 fine women, like high schoolers, right? And my cousin. So it's me and my cousin 6 dimes from area high schools, and then the 2 adults. And I wrote the schedule out. That was, I'm in class writing out the schedule, and you know what I mean. I never would go to the meetings because I was in school, and somehow my manager worked that out for me. Like, you don't have to worry about going to these meetings. Just, we made sure we ran the drive-through perfectly, and we did all these kind of things, right? So why am I saying all this? Well, I had all these women, young girls, coming at me because they wanted to get hired. When I needed someone, when someone quit or couldn't work anymore, I told the manager, like, well, I need 2 more. I lost 2. I need 2 more in drive-through. He would come out with a pile of applications and throw them on, throw them on the floor. I mean, on the desk in front of me. He was like, so find them. Oh, all right, bet. So I'm hiring dimes. That's all I was hiring. It was me, my cousin James, and then it was my cousin JB, and it was like all these chicks and then the 2 grown-ups. Right? I did that for a year, and then I joined the Army. But I was getting on at work. I was getting on at school. I was getting on because I played in the band, right? I went to church, went to a bunch of churches, especially when they had concerts. You know what I mean? Our church go visit another church or vice versa in the concerts, getting on. None of that stuff's in play now. It's like, dude, how do you even meet women? Women, how are y'all meeting men? You know what I'm saying? I'm curious. We got Miss AKA ladies in the house. What's good, love? How you doing? Good to see you, brother Doug, with the $5 super sticker, man. Appreciate you, bro. How you feeling, man? Peace. I'm so glad you're here, man. We talking about this changing dating game and the invisible bottom 80 and what that means for America, man. I'm reacting to this CNN, fair use, by the way. I'm reacting to this CNN clip that I found online talking about this on YouTube. So seriously, ladies, how do y'all meet? I mean, I know how I'm doing it. I know where I go. You know what I mean? I know where I go to hunt. Ladies, where do y'all go to hunt? You know what I mean? Where are y'all meeting dudes at? Just curious. Sister Candace, when you were single, how did that work? Where were you meeting people? How was that working? Because no one's going out anymore. There's no social network. It seems to have been destroyed. And if all we have is the online, platforms to meet people, we in trouble. We are absolutely in trouble. Like he just said, there's more women online than men, and men are very, very, women are extremely picky. Why not? They have so many options. I'll be picky too. So let's continue.
Chris Williams summarized it perfectly. He called it the high heels effect. In the last 40 years, more women have graduated from college than men, and they're not interested in mating with non-college grads. They now own more homes, single women than single men. So what you have is women say they won't date anyone shorter than them, 50% of them. Effectively, what you have metaphorically over the last 40 years is women have been getting taller and taller, and men have been getting shorter and shorter.
That's hilarious. Metaphorically speaking, but he's right. Women are graduating at much higher rates than men from college. And of course, we all know you make more money if you have a higher degree over the lifetime of your career. Career being just like your lifetime of work. You're going to make more money. PBD podcast was talking about this, I think last week or the week before, how, women are buying more homes than men. They have more, single women have more homes, right? So they have more homes. They're making more money. Okay. Wow. So again, it's like, I don't need no man. You're right. But and like what Sister Candace was saying here, if you want to have a baby, I guess you need a man, unless you're going to buy some sperm. I guess you could do that. Going down to the old sperm bank and buy it. But why buy it when there's plenty of dudes that get it to you for free? So this is crazy. And it got me thinking, I've said this before, and I'm gonna keep saying this. Women soon will be out earning men. We talked about this yesterday. You look at the big metropolitan areas, women are already out earning men in certain age cohorts, right? Women are making more money, right? So if a woman is making more money and she wants to have a relationship and she gets into that relationship with a guy who's making less, and they decide as a team, or more likely she tells him to quit your job and stay home because we're having a baby because she wants to be mama bear. Okay, fine. He stays home. He works from home. He's raising the baby. He's taking care of business. 7 years in, he's like, I'm tired of this. And he files for a no-fault divorce. Guess what? He's going to get the baby, right? Because he's been taking care of the child. He's going to get the house. He's going to get, let's make it 10 years. He's going to get alimony because he put 10 years in. If he's in Florida, he's going to get alimony until he dies. And he's going to get named the custodial parent and get child support. because that's how the system works. It's not about male, female. And it's funny because a lot of people get mad about our current family law system. It's not about male, female. But here's the thing. I believe this is going to happen. I believe there's going to be, starting maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a legion of women paying alimony and child support to men. They're losing their homes. They're losing half their stuff, right? And they're going to be over here on this podcast. You know me jumping up on the panel, talking about how messed up the system is, right? And all these dudes going to be like, yeah, is that right? Is that right? They did what? They took your house, right? Word. What? You got to pay child support? Word. Because that's how the system is rigged. And I think once that happens, there's going to be some changes, some modifications to the system. Why? Because women still vote more than men, if I'm not mistaken. Women, when women come together to change something, it changes. It changes, something like that. I think that's going to be funny. You know what I mean? So yeah, brother Cody's Kings in the house. What's good, fam? How you feeling, bro? I'm finna drop the chat, man. If you got some time, man, you should come up and let's talk about this, bro. Like, what's gonna happen, especially about what I just said about women earning more money. Therefore, they might find themselves in the same situation as men are today when it comes to the family court issue. I honestly believe that women are gonna start getting wrecked in the family court system. I truly believe this. And once that happens, I mean, they can't stop it up front. Judges, precedent has been set, right? The guy staying home, he's been the primary caregiver. He quit his job so moms can, the wife could pursue hers. She's going to have to pay for that. She's going to have to pay alimony. He's going to, continue to raise the child. He's going to get the house. There's just no way around it. There's no way a judge cannot rule that way. There's just no way they can do it. Precedent has been set. You get a halfway competent attorney, boom, it's done. You getting all this, bro. You know what I mean? Because these dudes aren't even working these days, man. That's another article that I was we're gonna talk about. Let me know how y'all feel about that. I think it's gonna be hilarious. I see everybody showing love in the chat. Brother Primal Studies in the house. What's good? The rules will change when the script is flipped. In my opinion, I agree with you, bro. I think once the script is flipped, and these women start getting pounded, because think about it, it's already going on. It's already happening, man. When you look at Halle Berry, you look at Kelly Clarkson, you look at Mary J. Blige, you look at what's her name? Britney Spears. And those are just the famous ones we know. I'm pretty sure that there are women out there who are very powerful, very wealthy, working hard. They had their dudes at home. The dude might have been working from home doing whatever. And they, gone to family court, and her attorney was like, look, you're going to have to give all this up. You know what I mean? At least get him to agree to this, because we go to the judge is going to make you pay way more. I think it's already going on. I dropped a link for anybody who wanted to come up and have this conversation, man, because I think that's what's going to go on. Primal Studies, women will start not allowing babies to be born with broke dudes because they'll have to pay them. But now it's a catch-22, right? Because you can, as a woman, like, all right, you can get the broke dude, right? And he might be handsome. He might be one of those Chad type dudes, Giga Chad, but he ain't got the money like that. But she's not going to be able to get the top tier guy that she wants. And if she wants to have a child, what then? What then? Again, was she going to go to a sperm bank? I don't know. I think. And then if that dude, there's a lot of dudes that don't have money that got real good game that can work themselves into a situation. I know a lot of dudes when I was growing up, and that's what they did, man. That's how you had these guys that had all these babies by all these different women, right? So if the guys modify their game just enough to where they only gun after these women who are making money, all he has to do is be involved with the child's life from the beginning. Well, I'll keep the baby to save on child, to save on child care. Boom, got him. He can go to child support, get that bread. So it puts them in a catch-22, huh? What do y'all think, ladies? What do y'all think, Miss Globe Girl? I'm curious. What do you think about that? She's like, if it is to be, so be it. I mean, I know you got more to say than that, then, love. I mean, for real, brother Dino. Women have become more selective. Men will have to step up their game, or men will be left on the shelf without options. Right, and that's what the Manosphere and or Manoswamp is about. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, we got the man, the myth, the legend, man. We're gonna have to bring him up. Brother, I see you back there, bro. I'm gonna pull you up in a second. I want to finish up this last minute of this video, and I'm gonna pull you right up. So let's get back to the video and finish this up, guys.
How many of us have said, I know a ton of great single women, they can't find a date? That's not true. They can't find a date. They can't find a man they find economically or emotionally viable. If we don't make a massive investment in young people and make more economically and emotionally viable men, we're going to see a lack of household formation. We're going to see a decline in the middle class. And we're going to see, quite frankly, just a lot of young men who are terrible citizens.
Bam, and that's how they wrapped it up. You know what I mean? Like if we don't do something about this, it's going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem, man. I'm excited now. I can't, man, without further ado, here he is right here, live and direct, man. Cody is King is in the house, man. What's good, fam? How you feeling, bro? It's just like you're on mute, trying to unmute you. There
Sorry,
you go.
that's my bad. How's it going, Dio?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right, bro. Like I'm trying to make it happen. You feel me? Thanks for asking, man. How's it going on your end, bro?
Good. Snowing, but other than that, pretty good. I do think that unless we see a reverse of course, you are going to see exactly that. You got women making more than men in general. You have a growing unemployment population, right? And I think you're absolutely right. I think there's going to be a case of dudes getting child support, dudes getting alimony. And I only see it getting worse. I think that's actually started already, has it not?
It has, at least down here. I don't know what's going on with our brothers and sisters to the north, but down here, like with the stars that I already mentioned, man, you got some big time celebrities getting hit with alimony, child support, paying, you know what I mean, 7-figure checks up front, you know what I mean, paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month in alimony and or child support, and having visitation schedules and stuff like that. So it's definitely happening down here. And if it's happening to the top tier people with the best attorneys, you know it's happening to everyone else down, you know what I mean, on down the scale.
Absolutely. And just the fact that you see it happening in the public eye with celebrities more and more, just that's how you see it start to become a thing, right? Like they slow drip that to the masses.
Exactly.
So once it's socially accepted, it's going to be everywhere.
It's going to be everywhere, bro. So, Brother Primal Studies, women can't end their baby. I think, yeah, and I think that's what we already. I think I already read this one, but I'll read it again just to be sure. Women can end the baby from any broke dude before it's born. Not right, but that's where we are at. You know what? I didn't read that. And he is correct. That is, it's always been the same. It is what it is. Miss AKA lady, I wouldn't be attracted to a man that requires me to take care of him. I couldn't mentally manage submitting to a man that I have to give lunch money to. Funny. I definitely wouldn't have a baby with him. Okay. But Miss AKA lady, what if you run across a dude who really has that game? He's presented himself as a top tier guy. He's run that game. He's managed to get past your defenses, right? He's managed to get to the love part, to your emotions. And then boom, now you're in it. How do you handle that? Brother Cody, you know anybody who got that kind of game? Like any dudes who out there like really, really run a game on some of these women?
I've got some friends for sure.
Give us a story, man. You ain't got to get nobody in trouble, but just in general, what are these guys after? What are these guys after?
You know, I don't even think they're after that necessarily, but once they figure out that that's what they can do, they get really comfortable sitting at home being taken care of. And the fact that more and more women are just out earning, like I know the wage gap, right? But honestly, I see it becoming more of a thing where women are out earning men, and I think that has largely to do with a lot of the social media influence and how they're making money via advertising and modeling and all this kind of stuff. But
yes,
I see it getting to become a mess unless, because they're pushing for this hyper, well, maybe not hyper, but they're pushing for absolute equality. And I think once that starts to go the opposite way, women might not like it as much as they may be enjoying it now.
Right. I think you're right, man. And this is one thing I will say about those guys who have that top tier game, let's say, like that, they're real pimptastic with their game. Most of the dudes that I know, they're not looking for money. It's kind of like what Brother Cody said. Once they get into a situation where, oh, I'm cool here, and she's being real feminine and she's cooking and like she's buying me things. I know dudes that'll look good all the time. Like, man, where you get that outfit from? My girl bought it. And then I got my other girl over here bought the shoes. And I'm driving my other girl's car. You know what I mean? And I'm house sitting this one chick I'm working on right now. You know, she's in Spain, but you know, she gave me the keys to the penthouse over here in the Wilshire Corridor. For those of y'all who ain't from LA, Wilshire Corridor is like over there by UCLA is where all the big money is, right down the street from Brentwood. I know dudes that were doing that. You know what I mean? Their game was on point. They knew how to, however they knew how to famoose it, they famoosed it like that. You know what I mean? And again, women want what they want. If you could present that to a woman, you might get her.
Well, it's also what's being pushed socially, right? And the fact that women are supposed to be the boss bitch or the boss babes or whatever you want to call it these days. It's being slowly programmed into them. So, like you see some of the ladies in chat, you know, they're kind of repulsed by it. But
Yes.
like I've said before, they are not the norm, right? And they're not the good representation of what's, I guess, the average or what's being thrown out
Right.
in the media to the masses. So, and who knows when you got the next generations coming up. I sincerely wonder if we're gonna head to a place where men are slowly getting pushed out of the workforce, and it's going to be a bigger and bigger female population in the workforce, especially as we go more to automation and everything starts to be handled by machines.
Right.
And then what? So if truly we're supposed to buy along with the hypergamy mindset, does that mean even less couples are going to be a thing because women are disgusted by it? Or does it become a thing where dude's sitting at home and he has his woman or women going out and working for him, making all the money while he sits there just collecting?
Right.
I mean, it's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting, man. And Miss AKA lady, you're right. I mean, there and brother Cody called it. Like, here's the thing: women who can think are not the women we're talking about. I'm not trying to like sound overly critical and like talk down, but most people don't think. Most Americans, men and women, they don't think. I just had this conversation with my dude Jay Swans today. He was saying he was like, these young girls are smarter than the young dudes, and I was like, no, they're not smarter. They're just as dumb as the dudes. Line them up and ask them questions. You can line up 5 dudes, you know what I mean, 5 22-year-olds and men and women, and ask them to name 3 states and ask them to name 5 countries. They can't do it. So they're all equally stupid. It's just women socially are keen, and they know how to maneuver better than these guys. So that gives them an air of maybe they're kind of smarter, but they're not. It's just ingrained in them. They know how to move. They understand the game and they move accordingly. Whereas these dudes don't even realize they're in the game. And the ones who are operating, they're doing what they were told to do. You know, good things come to those who wait. Be a good guy. You know what I mean? You know, put your jacket down over a puddle for her and all that kind of stuff. All right, go ahead and do that. You know what I mean?
I think they're conflating the fact of that they are more educated and have been more educated for a long time with actually being more intelligent. They're failing to realize that they're actually being manipulated a lot, both by these dudes and by the social programming that's being pushed. I know I say that a lot, but really it is what it is. Like that's what all this media is. That's why they push it in the magazines all the time. It's to direct your thinking towards a certain narrative and a certain lifestyle.
Yep. Life of Cash is in the house. What's good, fam? Let me get the horn set up for you. Good to see you, bro. Single women are empowered and single men are lonely. Single women are lonely. So they just these boss babes, man. I'm telling you, this is a new phenomenon. And these young women, when they were young, all in 100% feminism, yeah, girl power. Now look at them. You know what I mean? They're in their 40s, they're 40 something. They don't have any kids, or they got kids and they came up kind of crazy. The kids are mad at them. They can't hold down a guy. It's beginning to affect them, and you're seeing it. Taraji, what's her name? Taraji Henson or whatever, the one actress, and Vivica, is it Vivica Fox and all the rest of them? They're out there and they are getting crushed. They're lonely. They hate where they are in life, and they all come back like, I made a mistake. I do want a man. I want someone to be with. You know what I mean? All that money, all that power, all that clout means nothing if you don't have anyone to share with you, especially if you're a woman. And you reach a point where the guys you won't stop chasing you. And that's when it happens, right? And that's what they call the wall. Like when the wall comes for a woman, it's really harsh because no one now she's invisible. She's invisible to the guys that she wants. Now the bottom 80 see her bright and clear, and they want to get on. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
Sorry, Dale.
That's all good.
Say that last part again for me.
I was talking about the wall and how it affects them. You know, women get all this success and they go out and they live that feminist dream. They get it. And then the men that they want are no longer, you know, attracted in them. They won't even blow their back out. They become invisible. But the bottom 80 guys still see them. So these women, like, what do you think that their mindset is, or what do you think their solutions may be moving forward?
I don't know. Maybe they're going to become passport babes, but then they're kind of putting themselves in that same situation where they're going to be getting men from a lower economic standpoint. So, like, it's interesting because it's not like they don't see these guys. It's just they're not good enough to want to make an actual life with them, right?
Okay.
Because there are. Well, I mean, not everybody in the bottom 80 is ugly. Let's say, because there's not like none of these dudes are smashing. I know we talk about the top 20% smashing all these chicks, but I think there's more going on than that. It's just I think women write off a lot of these guys as actual partners.
So they might be good enough to give up to Foxy Brown, but then that's it. So they're just basically they're the side chick. They're the side dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We might be looking at like a reversal of gender norms, right? And I think that's kind of like the direction that they're trying to head us into, where there'll be a woman with her harem of dudes by the end of it, for all we know.
Wow, bro, that's facts though. I mean, when you think about it, that makes sense. If you take on the mantle as the alpha, the provider, you the one, you got the bread and all that. All right, you've made just like Rolo says. Rolo Tomasi says this all the time. Congratulations, lady. You have made yourself into the man you've always wanted. Now what? You know what I mean? You're gonna have to get yourself a side dude. Brother Hayoka's in the house. What's good, fam? Ms. Globe Girl, I think women have outsmarted men as it relates to social settings. Absolutely, they get it. Absolutely, Ms. Globe Girl. Women get it. I mean, it's ingrained in them. Maybe it's part of the, it's part of the DNA. Whereas men typically left on his own devices will develop his fight mechanism, or his warrior instincts will come out more readily than a woman's would, perhaps.
I think that's always been the case, though.
Yes.
Right. I think men are very socially inept in comparison to women. Anyway, I mean, with ourselves, it's a different story. We're able to observe each other a lot more. But when it comes to women, a lot of guys are fucking clueless. You know, they don't understand when they're getting hit on. They don't understand when a woman isn't attracted to them half the time.
Yes.
It's a mess. And I don't know whether that's just they haven't had the education to it, or just haven't had enough chances to experience it themselves.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's more that they've never been introduced to the game properly and they haven't been trained up. Period. I think that's where it stems from. And then, they'll go watch some red pill content or read a book, read, Mastery or something like that, right? Read Unplugged Alpha. And then they'll take a couple, bullet points from the book, run out there in the real world, use it. It works, but then they don't know what to do after that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you got her attention. Now what? Dudes think because you're rich, all these women just come and they drop, they fall down and let you get to Foxy Brown. No. Andrew Tate said this a couple years ago. Money is a qualifier. That's it. That's it. It's going to buy you a little bit of time. And I don't mean like you literally have to pay for it. But once you convince women that you are a top tier guy, all right, now she's going to listen to you for that long. Now what? What are you going to say? Hi. You know what I mean? Punch her on the shoulder and run away like an 8-year-old? Like, what are you going to do? I mean, go ahead. It's
a weird situation as well, because they're really trying to make men more and more effeminate these days too. So that's going to be narrowing the options down for these women even more, because they're not going to want these hyper feminine men. If anything, they're also trying to convince guys that they need to be sleeping with these feminine dudes. So it's becoming a weird situation in the West. I mean, I know they've always wanted drones, let's say, but how will that go?
Right.
What is that going to do to society overall?
Right. Ms. Glow Girl, point me in the direction of an article, video, etc., where a boss woman has stated she is miserable and has regrets. I like to read the article or see that video. There is a former supermodel. I forget her name. There was an article about her, print article, because she said she was invisible. I can't remember her name. If anyone in the chat can remember her name, please let me know. So she said that she regretted, not getting herself a good man or whatever. Well, she regrets being invisible. That's what it is. She's just mad she's not getting the attention. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube where women are saying now, I wish I hadn't done that. A lot of it revolves around the hookup culture. A lot of it revolves around feminism. It's out there, love. This Glow Girl, are you on Instagram? Because if you are, I'll send it to you. I can find about half a dozen and send them to you. I might even find one by the end of this live tonight if I can. Can you think of any off the top of your head there, Brother Cody?
Most celebrities, like most of their relationships don't last at all, and same thing with, I would say, most business women too. They're like, even if you look at Fresh and Fit for all these boss bitches that show up on there, most of them are looking for dudes. Maybe they got the side dude that they're smashing, but like they're very obviously not interested in keeping them. It's like they're not good enough. So
yeah, and there's been some episodes on Fresh and Fit where women have actually broke down crying, like some older women, like, man, I wish someone had told me these things when I was younger. Looking at the young women on the panel, like, I wish someone had told me what they're telling you now, because they're right. And this one woman, she just started crying. I don't know if you saw that episode, but I thought it was crazy, bro.
I don't think I have, but it doesn't surprise me at all. We're going into an interesting time, and I see what Primo Studies is posting in there, and I think that is part of the idea. Is they're trying to do a massive push for online, like, false relationships, like that's going to somehow substitute for real world interaction. Personally, I don't see it going well.
Wow, I'm sitting here looking at it now. Wonder if robot AI will start replacing relationships for some of these folks. Yeah, bro. If they especially if the AI gets good enough, it absolutely will. And I think that would spell the end of the human species as we know it. I think we would have to take people's DNA and put it in like a factory and make humans, because humans won't be getting together. Dr. B's in the house. What's good, fam? Over here having a good talk. Good to see you, bro.
Honestly, DL, I think that's already the case, and it's being pushed already. I've seen that in the news a few times, but them advertising artificial human wombs, and they've been pushing for in vitro fertilization for a while. And nowadays, like, whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but they've been trying to gear up to do designer babies for some time.
That is scary, bro. That is scary. Designer babies. Here's something. I just did a quick little, and this is for this will be for Ms. Globe Girl. And I just did a quick little YouTube search. So Boss Babe breaks down in tears because she has to put in work. I don't think that'd be a good one. We'll play it anyway. I was just trying to see if I could find one real quick. But there are women out there who are just, being upset. This might not be what we were thinking about, but hell, I pulled it up. So let's give it a watch. Here we go.
Ask a fish how to catch a fish, you ask a fisherman.
Stupid. That's the best analogy I've heard.
That's a W. That's E1. That's E1. That's a W.
And that's something that most men pretty much understand, because if you as a man don't understand a woman, don't understand her mentality.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was hoping for. I can find them. I can't find them now. I needed like at least 10, 15 minutes so I can set it up and find what we were talking about here. But there are plenty of videos out there, and there are articles out there where women are regretting living a feminist lifestyle as a boss babe, getting all the money, having all the success, and then find themselves profoundly lonely. Look at Jennifer Lopez. You know what I mean? She's happy now, but boy, if Ben Affleck didn't take her, she would just be out there. There's so many of them.
Are they still together? I thought that was like decades ago.
They came back together, bro, and they got married.
Oof. I think a lot of those marriages too are just for taxes, honestly.
I think he loves her, bro. I ain't gonna lie to
Yeah.
you. I think he loves her, man. I really do. I think he loves her, and I think she realized that this is it. This is the last parachute. You know what I mean? It's the last. This is the last raft. If I don't take this, I'm gonna be single and just smash. Because I mean, Jennifer's a beautiful woman, man. Yo, she want to get it on. We can get it on a cracking, but I don't have that kind of bread. Like, she's not gonna get a top tier man that's gonna out on her level or above. Like, I think he was the last one. But yeah, they got married, bro. They got together, and she didn't want to do a ceremony or be married. He did. According to the media, if you want to believe the media. But they had this little private ceremony. It was they just threw it together. Only close friends and family were there, and they are legally married, bro.
That's right. I just like for a lot of these celebrity marriages, I wonder how much is just for the public eye. But I did not know that.
Yeah, I actually did a show. I did a show on it, like a quick clip, like why? Like, yo, Ben, why?
he could still be pulling these young little hotties. Like, what's he doing?
He could pull anything he wants. Anything he wants, yo. So I was just kind of like, bro, for real? Why? But yeah, man. I'll put this in here. If anybody else wants to jump up, I don't know if I just pinned it to the top there. If anyone else wants to jump in, but I'm with Brother Cody, man. I think we have reached a point, especially with AI and the sex bots. I'm working on some shows on that. That's definitely a thing. Once that comes online, I mean, there's some women out there mad that dudes are going to, the passport bros or whatever. They're getting their passport and they're going to travel and they're looking for women or whatever. Imagine if all they had to do is invest a couple $1,000s, maybe 10 grand, in an AI that's as fine as you want it to be. It's programmable. You don't think they would do that and be happy? And it does everything that they want them to do physically? Come on now. I think we got a problem.
See, I can see men doing that a lot more. Like women really want that social interaction and that emotional connection versus dudes. Like, we don't care as much. We really don't. A lot of dudes you got that MGTOW movement, right? Where dudes they're happy being alone. And I think guys are much happier single than women are. There's a reason why guys don't really go looking for relationships. They go looking for some pussy versus women are constantly looking for that relationship, that connection, that social interaction. So even some dudes that I talk to, I'm not going to say who, are very interested in these robots that are being pushed out, which the whole like build a bitch wife. I'm sorry, but I see it more and more, and who knows where it will be in 10 years or 20.
Yes, for real. Within 2 generations, we might not reckon. Like, dude, if they were to send us on a mission to, I don't know, Venus or Mars, and we came back after 5 years and they put us in stasis or whatever, so we didn't age, and we came back after, let's say, 20, 25 years, we probably wouldn't recognize America with respect to the dating marketplace. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I don't think humans in this country would even be, getting together like that. I think it'll be all, sex bots for men, and then women would just be hanging out with their girls. And of course, probably top 5% of guys will be the ones who get to actually pick organic woman. That's scary, man. See, this is why sci-fi is so crazy.
See, and I see what Candace just posted in there too. I know I'm off topic, but she's saying the old people are still getting it in. But do you know what's happening in those old folks' homes? It's like a couple of these old dudes smashing all these old chicks. So it's going back to what you're saying you're not wanting. So
it's the same thing.
Interesting dynamic. Huh?
Right. It's no matter what, you're not getting away from the 80-20 or the 5-95 or the 70-30, however breakdown it, the minority of men are going to get the majority of women. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I was trying to find that too. I think I missed it. Sister Candace, I'll find it and I'll highlight it. But dude, that's the world we're living in. So how do we educate men and women on this? Is because mainstream media is slowly getting into it. Women don't really come over to the red pill space. I mean, thinking women do, thinking like Miss Globe Girl, Miss AKA, like Sister Candace, you know what I mean, and all the rest. But how do you get the vast majority of women to take this information?
Honestly, I think there's going to be a large portion, and there already is a large portion of single aging women who are aging themselves out of even having children at this point. Like they're in their 40s, 50s, haven't had kids, are single now. And unfortunately, I think there's going to be, and I know this is going to sound bad, but I think some of them are just going to be done for. You know, like that's it, and it's going to be whether we can change the social dynamic around, or whether the next generation can for themselves see the mistakes that has been made and say, like maybe I don't want this for myself. Maybe I'm going to take a different route and go back more to say traditional values and a more natural sense of relationships than what we got going on now.
And that makes sense. And maybe they will adjust their sexual mating strategy and say, you know what, I don't necessarily need the 6'3" Chad and all this kind of stuff. Maybe I can get me a guy who's making, you know, $60,000, $70,000 a year, who goes to church, who's a good man, who's not out here, you know what I mean, on social media or on all these random OnlyFans sites, you know, with these thoughts or whatever. Maybe that changes, and then those guys become the top tier men. You know, maybe something like that happens.
I think they're aging themselves out of the dating market too, just by focusing too much on their careers and staying single, thinking that all of a sudden they're going to find a guy at 40.
Yeah.
And they're hoping to find a 40-year-old guy at 40, or maybe a 50-year-old guy at 40, and thinking that they're going to live happily ever after at that point. But I don't really see it being the case. Now, could it potentially? Sure. Because like with their same artificial womb technology that I'm talking about, there is the potential people could have babies later on. But where we're at right now, it's not that great.
It's not that great. And I think I found it was Brother Doug. All this hit the wall stuff must stop. I see old women and senior citizens communities still pulling men. Man, look, it's still a percentage of dudes. I'm here to tell y'all, as a 52-year-old man, ladies, we have been through a lot. If you think you're gonna find some 50-plus-year-old man who's pristine and hasn't been through a lot of battles, you know what I mean, you're wrong. Like someone like me, you want to talk about picky? I believe I'm pickier than women are when you're talking about a serious committed relationship. I'm like, no, any red flag and I'm done. Which is kind of like how women are when I was in my 20s. Any red flag whatsoever, I'm moving on. Will I smash? Maybe. Depends on how fine you are. You know what I'm saying? But I find myself saying no way more than I say yes. So, ladies, if you're thinking I'm gonna hit my late 30s, early 40s, and find me some 50-something-year-old silver fox, nah. And I see dudes my age, younger than me, that look older than me. And I'm like, bro, I don't think women gonna want this dude either. So, and I'm not in the best of shape. I keep I keep myself okay. You know, I go through spurts and like I'm about to get back into the gym. Like, all right, I gotta get hard again. You know what I mean? I gotta get back in there. But most dudes my age, man, they look broke down. They've been through. I'm like, Jesus, man. What's your take on that?
They choose to be though too, right? Like that's a lifestyle choice. They're choosing to be lazy fucks and give up. Honestly, I think. And as far as what Doug's saying with the wall shit, I mean, it is what it is, bro. That's reality. You know, you can say that these old bitches are pulling dudes, like they're pulling dudes their age or above still, and they're not pulling them and having kids and starting families. Like they're just smashing. So if women are saying that they don't want to just smash and do this, then how is that any better? And as far as what you're talking about, DL, like, yeah, because as you get older, your options go up, versus as she gets older, her options go down. And you can say you don't like that dynamic, but that's reality. That is what it is. Hell, it's only gotten easier for me, easier and easier and easier the older I've gotten. And but it's kind of always been the case. Women have always been attracted to older men.
Yes.
And I think men, as they get older, they start to realize and lose that social stigma of dating girls less. Like, for example, when I was in high school, a year or two younger was too young for me. Nowadays, I'm like, 10 years younger, no problem. You know, she's 20, I'm there. Like, oh, what's the issue? It's fine. You know,
It's normal. It's supposed to be that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, bro. Like I run across women in their 40s, and if they look good, it's like, all right, cool. But there's still this vetting process, man. And my vetting process is hardcore. You know what I mean? Again, I'm just looking for little things. I listen to everything she says, and I'm like, okay. If I hear something I don't like, I move on. And for people out there, it's not like it's a big scene. No, I just float away. You know
a
what I
lot of
mean?
that's got to do with your confidence too. Like, you know, you don't have to put up with that because you
Right.
can just go get another one. They're
Absolutely.
everywhere. So what am I willing to deal with? You know, versus her, it's like, well, fuck, maybe I'll accept this and that and this because I don't have as many options. So
Yeah. It's not no Exfo. What's good? Welcome. Most people find comfort slant refuge in labels. It's not new. Hey man, yeah, it's easier than challenging yourself. Yeah. And that kind of ties into everyone wants to be a victim these days, don't they? It's not my fault. It's this. You know, I'm not a lazy, you know, I'm not a lazy good for nothing. I'm depressed. Yeah, that's it. Or, you know what I mean? I got ADHD. Yeah, that's it. Or, you know what I mean? I got thyroid issues. Oh, it ain't got nothing to do with all that cake you've been eating, bro. All the sodas you've been drinking, it's your thyroids. Okay. You know what I mean?
excuse you need. Yeah.
But we live in this victim mentality, bro. Like this world. Is it like that up north as well? I mean, is it people are just like, it's not my fault, it's everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a natural human thing. Like you'll dodge accountability as much as you can. It's unfortunate, but I don't know whether that has to do with the fact that, like we've talked about before, that everybody's been told they can have everything without doing anything.
Yep.
But
everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah, I'd like to see that reverse on itself and encourage people to work for what they want. You know, because when you do put in that work and you start to get results from it, all it does is encourage you to work even harder, right?
Yes. And that's another thing. There's one of the things that I talk about, and I'll be talking about this Friday. I'm gonna be meeting up with the fellas. You know, once a month now we get together, and you know, I'm slowly starting to put together an organization to, you know, to help those who are looking for help. And one of the things I want to talk about this week, I'm gonna talk about being complacent, right? Not having a mission. Because I look back on my own experience, bro. I was living the dream, bro. I'm out here, it's like, you know, from 98 until about 05, you know, making over 6 figures, no kids. I'm in LA, I'm kicking it, right? But I was just kind of floating because my mission was to get out of the hood. My mission was to survive, get out the hood, and I did that. And then I didn't set new goals. I didn't, you know what I mean? I just sat back and it was just money. There was one point where, dude, I was making so much money, like just away from my job. And I didn't focus. I just let all that money go, you know, and, you know, just having fun or doing whatever. And dude, lack of focus is always going to be a detriment to you, whether you are a top tier guy or not. So that's one of the things I'm gonna be talking about. How did you deal with that, bro? I'm pretty sure you got to a point in life where you could have gone easy, but you decided to keep going hard.
I think part of that is when the money starts coming a little bit too easy too. Because like you said, I've had more money than I knew how to spend it before. And all I did was find more ways to waste it. Very in poor ways, let's say.
Yes.
So I wish I had been a bit more serious well, I also lacked the knowledge of how to properly invest and, let's say, build a nest egg back then too. But that's my mission now. So
yeah. I mean,
part of that comes over time, man. Like it's great to enjoy the fruits of your labor, and when you're young, you're probably going to get the most enjoyment out of it, right? It's going to the beach and all that kind of shit. It's great when you're 60, but you just can't enjoy it the same.
You sure can't, bro.
So
You just can't.
I don't blame some of these dudes. Yeah.
You got to do it. But again, that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. Like, hey, but just remember, always sit down, reevaluate. You know what I mean? Your mission should always be changing. Once your mission changes, your objectives change. Yeah, take time, take R&R. You know what I mean? Go out there, have some good time. You earned it. But now it's time to gear up. Let's get back into the fight. You know, it's time to gear up. Let's go back to the front. Let's go down range. Let's figure this out. As opposed to what I did, man, it was just endless. The stuff I was doing, it was dumb. And I look back on it as like, bro, I mean, no exaggeration, I would be sitting on 2 million right now had I just done a couple simple things back then with the money. Just a couple very simple things. I could have still done had all the fun and all that. But if it was just 2 moves I could have made and people were telling me to do it and I didn't do it. And now I look back on it like, yeah, that probably cost me a couple $1 million. You know,
Do you think it was an attitude thing or just a lack of knowledge or
Lack
a
of-
maturity thing?
it was, I would say a little bit of all of the above. It was a little bit of definitely the lack of knowledge. There was no one in my world prior to that could tell me what to do with that kind of money. There's no one I knew made that kind of money. I was the one. So who do you turn to, you know, to get a good tax person? Because, you know, people I knew were doing easy forms. Down here, there's a thing called the easy form. You can just fill out one form and fill out your taxes and turn it in and get your money, right? Get your refund. But when you're making more than 6 figures, who can tell you, you know, the tax breaks and all that? No one I knew could tell me that. No one even understood the kind of money I was making. And I'm having fun and partying. So I'm a kid, which is the maturity of it. It's like, I don't need to be doing all this, but I did it anyway.
And it's coming in, so you're not worried about it, right?
Exactly. It's coming in and then more is coming in. You know what I mean? I'm networking and doing all this. And I guess that the only person that's really to blame is me, because there were people who told me to do it and to look into things that I didn't look into because I was too busy having fun. So it's on me. It's no one's fault but my own. But again, had I don't know, like this week when I talk to my dudes, I'm gonna let them know, like, hey man, you should be constantly adjusting your mission. If I had that little bit of information embedded in my head, it's like, all right, I'm having some fun. Let me adjust this mission. What can I do with this? You know, and we didn't have YouTube back then. If I had YouTube and I was sitting there watching, you know, Myron and Fresh talk about buying real estate, I would have bought some real estate. I would have, just because you see it. They're like, oh man, right? And then you actually meet these people, and it's like, oh man, they really okay. Let me do this. And again, that move right there in LA at the time, that move would have made me at least $1.7 million. Easy.
The long-term direction would have gone a long way, right?
Yes, easy. So, and then the money I would have saved in taxes because I would have had the write-offs. Again,
You know what? I try to tell people about all the ways that they could be putting away this money, and salute to you, Jose. And like, so yes, you're not necessarily gaining any more into your, let's say, the amount you could be spending at the end of the month or the end of the year, but you could be putting that aside for later and deducting it completely. So technically you're not losing that money. You're just putting it away as if you would in a savings account, except, you know, you can have it work for you and grow further onto that.
Yeah. And I had options that I absolutely would have, I lost opportunities was just an outright loss. You know what I mean? There were some opportunities that came along, and because I wasn't managing the money properly, it cost me opportunities down the road. But you're right. At the end of the day, I was young, bro. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I don't regret anything I did when I was doing, you know what I mean? When I was doing that, bro, I don't regret any of it, because I did learn a lot, and I did network myself into some situations where, you know, there's opportunities that still exist today because of it. But these are the things I want to tell. Again, if I could tell my younger self, right? If older Saint could go back there and talk to younger Saint, yo, do this. We'll be good in 20 years. Trust me, do this. And that's what I'm trying to do with these young guys. Miss AKA Lady, do you guys think the average successful 50-year-old man is looking for a 20-something-year-old woman and start having kids? You don't think any of them will be interested in a 40-year-old with kids? You want to go first, bro?
Sure. I mean, if he's already got his own kids and stuff like that, I'd say he's more likely to be accepting of that. Now, but that's also going to depend on where he's at on the value scale, right? Because if you can get the 20-year-old who's nice and available versus the 40-year-old with kids, why would you choose the one that's more problems, less fun? Why would you want them? So, like, don't get me wrong, there are some, and they may feel like they can relate to them more, but like in any partnership, quote unquote, in these relationships, you don't need to be having the same interests as each other. And quite often, like that's not necessarily any good. You don't want to be dating your twin or, you know, your best friend, your dude like you. Girls, like, they think in their head that that's what men want, but just because that's what you want doesn't mean that's what he wants.
Right.
Yeah, I hope I answered that.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, and I talk about this a lot. People ask me about game, right? Well, DL, you said this when it comes to game. You got to do this with this woman at this time and da da da. I was like, nah, man. It's player versus player, and everyone plays their own game, right? So it's the game within the game, right? So if you're talking about a 50-year-old man who has no children, right? He's done the work. He's worked himself up to a point where he's sitting on, let's say he's worth $10 million liquid. You know what I mean? He has a company, maybe his company is worth, $100 million. And he's done a lot of work and he's doing really well. And he wants to have children. That guy's going to go for the youngest woman he can because he's going to want children. He's going to want his name to go first. And he knows he's 50, right? The chance of it, he's got another 30, 40 years tops. He's done. So he's going to need a younger woman to help him raise these kids. And he's going to meet that woman. And this is just my take on this. And he's going to have, 3, 4 kids, however many he wants with that woman. And she's going to be taken care of. And, he's going to vet her to the point where this is the woman I want because she's going to take care of these kids, help me raise these kids. It's going to secure my future, my name. Now, if that guy is, let's say he's done the same thing, made all the money, but he's already had kids and he kind of went through the family court thing and had to deal with that. And that was a big headache or whatever. Didn't really hurt him that much, but he lost some bread. That guy, it's like, all right, I'm not having any more children. I have my sons and my daughters, and they're pretty much grown or about to be grown. I'm not going to go out here and look for some young girl that I have to, get up to speed and have all these children for me. I don't want that. So, yeah, he might want a woman who's older and has her own kids, depending on how old those kids are, right? If the kids are about the same age or if this woman and her kids are grown and kind of out of the picture, yeah, and she's fine. Yeah, there's a real good chance he'll want to be with her and they'll go travel the world because they enjoy each other's company or she adds value and all that other kind of stuff. So I can see both. But, I mean, it's so hard when we had these conversations because people are like, it has to be this way. Nah, it's never just this way. There are many ways. You know what I mean?
It's also not about just what he wants. It's whether she's going to want him. Like, is she going to want the 50-year-old who's got kids and maybe doesn't have as much money as that single 50-year-old guy who's in shape and killing it and now ready? Like, it doesn't just work the one way. So maybe he might be interested in just having that companion, that 40-year-old woman who's got kids, but maybe she won't want him either, right?
Right. So there is no one answer. Because is it possible? Yes, of course it's possible. But it's more likely those guys it takes a long time to make that kind of money to put yourself on like that. And having kids while you're trying to build all that, it's a pothole, right? It's a hazard on a golf course. You want to avoid that. So a man with no children who's made his fortune, he's 50 years old and he's taking care of himself and he still looks good, he's probably going to want a younger woman. She might not be 20, but she'll be in her 20s. I guarantee you that. She'll be somewhere between 20 and 26 and he'll get to making babies right away. But again, if he's already had the kids or whatever and his marriage failed and what have you, then yeah, he's looking for somebody just to sit back and chill with. And it's like Brother Cody says, it's not just his choice. She has to choose as well. You know what I mean? Hey, Brother Cody, we got to get you down here, bro. Or maybe I got to come up there, but I'm afraid to come up there, man. Y'all might let me out. Be stuck.
I'd be better off coming down there, bro. It's cold right now. I've had to shovel the driveway like 3 times today.
That's right. Y'all had that front that came through. It dumped on California. Like even LA felt it. Wow. Hey, bro. It hit us too, man. We've got down to 78.
Oh,
So it is.
poor you. Fucking hell.
But I'm from Ohio originally, man, and I know what's up with the snow, man. And I tell you what, I don't mess with the snow anymore. That's why I live in Florida. Bro, is there anything else you wanted to talk about while we got you on here? Because I think we've pretty much covered it. And again, thanks for coming up, bro. It's always a pleasure to have you on the panel.
Anytime you like, bro. I think I wanted to say great show yesterday. I almost popped up myself, but you had a good thing going, so I didn't want to wreck it. And I'm looking forward to your your show you got coming up on Thursday with Viking.
Yeah.
I'll be here and have my eyes peeled and be ready to cause some trouble in the chat.
That's what's up, man. Be ready to jump up, man. I love having you up here because you don't be on anybody else's, just any of your body's panel, man. That's why I feel honored. I'm like, yo, I got Cody up on this piece, bro. It makes me feel good. So
as long as I bring entertainment and as long as you enjoy it, DL, I'm happy to show up.
Hell yeah, man. I enjoy it, man. And then yeah, Thursday show, I'm gonna do the thumbnail tonight. We're gonna be talking about that the masculine, the burden for men, like the male masculine burden. Like I believe it's such a thing, but it kind of ties into what we're talking about here. That's going away as well. As men are becoming more feminized, our burden to provide, to protect, you know what I mean, is going away. So we're definitely gonna talk about that Thursday.
Be an interesting dynamic when the protectors and providers no longer need to protect or provide. Huh?
Yeah, it's all good until it's time to pop off, man. It's all good until, you know what I mean, until the Huns are at the gates. And then what? You know what I mean?
It's all dandy till the power shuts off.
Until the power shuts off. Man, listen, I was driving around the other night and I'm just kind of looking around. I'm like, we can see at night. Some podcasts I was watching talking about men, you know, made it to where you can see at night. That's why women could go out. Imagine if there was no lights. Whenever there's a big power outage, right? Come on now. There's no video. There's no CCTV, you know, TV or no CCTV. Bro, it's like, ladies, if we're really equal and the power goes out, why don't you go get some water at night? Go on out there. You know what I'm saying?
Even with the power on too, like it's great that women feel that they're safe to go walking around at night. But even as a grown 6'3" in shape guy, I know better than that I'm safe walking around at night.
Right.
You know,
and when I walk around, I'm always walking around with one of these. And like I said, I'm 6 feet. I know how to fight. You know what I mean? But I take my tool with me. So how safe do I really feel walking around here? You know what I mean? Right. So and that's the thing. When they was like, well, do you allow your woman to go out at night? Look, she can do what she wants to do. I advise against it. I'm like, why don't you stay home? Let me go do that. You know what I mean? But again, Cody, if you home with your woman and somebody kicks in the door, breaks down the window and crawls in, who's gonna go meet the threat? You or her?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. And yo, everybody in the chat, thank y'all so much. I know I haven't really been able to keep up. I'm showing every chat, but I'm seeing some really good conversations in there. Yeah, Miss AKA lady, with when it comes to that too, dating, especially now, man. I find this really difficult, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let brother Cody get his take on this, and then we'll let him go. I'm seeing that for the good women out there, and I think there are more good women out there than bad. And this is just my take on this, just from being in the trenches. It is so difficult for the good women to find themselves a decent man these days. You know, because the top tier guys, their game is so tight, and then the bottom 80 guys a lot of them are so weird, and then you got the MGTOW crew. They're just, hey man, I ain't even playing right now. They're just taking time on the bench. So ladies, I know it's difficult out there, and we don't talk about that a lot. Hey Cody, should that be something we talk about? How difficult it's become for women to find good dudes? That's not like
I think it'd be an excellent topic. It's just it's multifaceted, right? Because it's not that they're not finding good dudes. It's whether they're available, haven't already been snatched up, and whether those dudes want them. Because a lot of women are acting more like men, which, like, even if that's innocent and they're just being, you know, quote unquote, more independent and change in their attitudes, let's say, to acting more masculine. That's gonna be an immediate turnoff to the type of guys that they're gonna want, unless they're gonna start wanting, you know, the flower boys. Then, you know, it's not gonna be an issue. But I don't see that being the case in real life right now. So,
maybe we should do that, bro. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe next week or something like that. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, because I haven't heard anyone tackle that topic. Now, Myron and Fresh talk about it on the late night shows because women will ask them, well, what should I do to add value? How can I get me one of these type dudes? Or how can I get a man? And then Myron or Fresh would always say, well, you can get a man tomorrow. And I've said this. I've told women, I said, look, you can get a dude tomorrow. You just can't get the dude you want.
Yeah. Will you be satisfied with him?
Will you be satisfied with him? So that's crazy. Miss Globe Girl, again, my favorite sailor. Women do go get water though. You're just limited to women you know in suburbia or fresh and fit lives.
I'm gonna send Miss Globe Girl downstairs to go fight the fucking murderer.
Would you send her down there? Like, go, you go, Navy. You
go
Navy.
get him, girl. You go. You strong, independent queen. You come. Let me know when it's safe.
Let me know when I can come down there and bring me back a sandwich. Hey, Miss Glow Girl, we just playing with you. But love, honestly, if you're with your man, and please tell me the truth here, ladies in the chat, ladies, do you expect your man to protect you and the family? Brother Mike with the $5 super chat, man. You're the first to hear it, uncles. Today is my birthday. Hey, happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday to you, man. For sure.
Michael.
You know what I mean? You know, Mike, I ain't forgot, man. You challenged me to to get into the ring, bro. You know what I mean? Cody, on one of the shows, he wanted to get into the ring with me. Came from out of left field. I want to get into the ring.
I remember that. And if you do, you better stream it.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Brother Mike, it's on, player. Let me know when we gonna do this, man. He was like, we want to get into the ring. All right. I got that old man strength, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So happy birthday, brother. For sure. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, bro. Yeah, always a pleasure to have you in the chat, taking care of business, man, day one, for sure. So, but ladies, like, do you expect your men, she said, Miss Globe Girl, I have the equalizer. Yeah, I got a bunch of them too. I got a safe full of them. You know what I mean? But hey, sometimes you got to go hand, sometimes it's hand to hand. I was talking to, what? I'm gonna let Cody go. I'm sitting here just running my mouth, bro. But yo, Cody, thanks again, man. We gotta do another show, bro. We gotta do another show, man. We gotta tell these people about this, that warrior, that Spartan lifestyle of yours, bro. And get these people together, man. So I'm gonna be bugging you here pretty soon, man, to get you back up here and do another show.
You let me know, bro. I don't want to get you shut down, though. I have a hard time controlling my mouth sometimes.
Hey, you did a good job today. You only dropped like 4 or 5 of them, so we good. I think we'd be good.
No.
I think we'll be good. We'll get Mandrell on. It'll be a throwaway episode. We'll get Mandrell on here, man. We'll have you on here. Get Tarus on here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they'll shut us down midstream.
Perfect. I've been looking for a chance to poke some fun at Tyrese. So
we gonna make it happen, bro. We going to make it happen, bro. I appreciate you jumping up here, man. Any announcements you want to make, mate? Are you gonna start doing some stuff, or what's going on with you?
I'm trying to stay out of trouble for now. So not just yet. If I do, and if I start, I'll let you know for sure. You'll be one of the first to know.
Man, you better, bro, because I'm definitely gonna support you 125%, man. So, yo, thank you again for coming up, man. Everybody, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Cody is king. Peace, bro.
Have a good night.
Too. Man, it was a great show right here, bro. Y'all got Cody up in this piece. It's Brother Mike's birthday. You know what I mean? We got Sister Candace out here, and I'm sorry, Miss Globe Girl out here supposed to be telling us who's supposed to. I mean, seriously, ladies, are men supposed to be the protectors or not? Or is it really supposed to be 50-50, moving forward? I just can't see my woman out there protecting me if I'm able-bodied. No, you stay back. I'm not saying I don't want her to know how to defend herself or defend the family. If you're with me, you're going to the range. Every weapon I have, you're going to be proficient on. You're going to be able to do everything that I can do with weapons. But you're not going on the mission, right? Your role is to stay here and to defend the children. You know what I mean? We can always get another house. I'm sorry. I just can't send my woman out there to fight. I don't want her out there fighting with me. I just don't. I can't focus if she's out there. I'm not going to be saying, I can't be engaged in a firefight and hear my woman get hit and go down and just not go over to her. Right? If that's the love of my life, if that's my woman, I can't. If me and Jay Swan's if we're out there engaged in a firefight, and he goes down, I still got a mission to accomplish. I still got to go get the bad guys. And when I'm done, I'll come back and check on him. And same thing, if I get hit and I go down, he's going to complete the mission and he's going to come back and check on me. But if my woman goes down, mission's over, bro. The mission just changed. We are out of here. We're going to get her and get up out of here. So I don't know, man. I don't know. So you see, I got the equalizer. Miss AKA lady, if a man wants to keep a good woman, he needs to understand how to consistently be a good man. Everybody got to show up in the relationship. Consistently be a good man. And Miss AKA lady, does that imply that she's consistently a good woman? If so, I agree. But we all know that relationships are hard work. We're all human. So I think he should consistently try to be the best man that he can be and be there for his wife and family. That's what he should be consistently doing. And she should consistently try to be the best woman, the best wife, the best mother, right? He should try to be the best man, the best husband, the best father. And I would agree with that statement if we were to add those little caveats right there. Life of Cash, biology is rough. Women are naturally selective. Pun intended. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And Brother Dusto's in the house, man. What's good? Scam Likely's in the building. What's good, Dusto, man? What's up, man? Hey, Friday, bro, I'm gonna be at Edge. I don't know if you're gonna be in Tampa, but I'm gonna be at this rooftop joint. I'll hit you offline. I'll let you know where I'm gonna be. Definitely gonna be at the spot too Friday night, man. I know you had plans. I think it was just past Saturday, man. So let me know if you're coming through. Yeah, y'all got me dancing for real now, bro. And now I gotta go. I'm hooked. You know what I mean? Just so y'all know, Brother Dusto and I, we used to live in the same neighborhood. And went to the same gym. I still go to the gym now, but he done moved on. But we still hit the same spot on Fridays, man. We go in there, we dance and have a good old time, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, it was amazing. Thanks for all the love in the chat, y'all. And back to the topic, man. Disappearing men in America. It is definitely a problem, y'all. I don't think we can sustain ourselves as a society this way. I mean, if people look, I mean, mainstream media is talking about it. So this is definitely becoming a thing. You know, we cannot sustain ourselves with all these men out here, sexless and single and invisible. They gonna act up. Miss Globe Girl, I'm responding to your statement regarding the light as though women can't do anything without men, to include go fetching water and the dark DL stop. All right, yeah, I ain't mad at you. But I mean, but the question when I was asking about, you know, being protected and stuff like that, I'm being serious. And I really love your input. You, Miss AKA lady, Sister Candace, yeah, y'all give me real input that it makes me feel good to know that, all right, you know, you guys, I believe that you guys are representative of the majority of women out there. You know, the women who figured it out early and got married, they're in like long-term relationships or whatever. And those women who have, you know, also figured it out and understand that things have changed. So when I ask these questions, I'm not really like giving you a hard time. I'm like, yo, seriously, you know what I mean? Because you guys are thinkers like me. And that's why I love my day ones, man. You know what I mean? So Brother Mandrell's in the house, man. Mandrell, what's up, man? Why don't you jump up on the panel, man, real quick, man? Let's talk. Let's chop it up. I've been trying to get you. And I don't know how long you've been there, but it's pinned to the top, Mandrell. Why don't you pop on here, bro? I want to ask you about this dating situation, bro. I really do. Sister Candace, if I hear a thump in the night, I'm 100% expecting my husband to get up and go see what's going on, despite my 38 special being in my nightstand. Yep. And I've been carrying my 38 recently. I normally carry my 45 or my 40 millimeter, and they're both Glocks. This 38 is Smith & Wesson. I like it. Hammerless, good weapon. It's really tough for home defense because this 38 goes through walls. 38 special goes through walls. And the reason I like the 38 special because my 357 fires can fire the 38 special round, right? So 357 can fire 357 Magnum ammunition, but it can also fire 38 special ammunition. And that's good for going to the range because 38 is way cheaper than 357 rounds. But I feel you. Life of Cash at DL. Modernity has convinced us that all things are equal. Mission accomplished? Question mark. Yeah, man. That's not good. XFO, we'll see you, fam. Thanks for popping in and stopping by. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Miss Globe Girl, men should be protectors, but women are not helpless. True, women are not helpless. I absolutely agree. Women can protect too. It doesn't mean we're equal in that regard. No, I'm with you 100%. Come on now, Navy. You had your job on the ship, just like your fellow sailors. I get that. What if something happens to you, the man? Do you not want your woman to be able to protect herself and your family? And I do. And I think I went on my little mini rant, and I think that covered that part. Yeah, I definitely want my woman to be proficient with weapons and be able to do her part to protect the family and all that, right? To keep the kids safe. And if I fall, she should be able to move forward and protect herself as well. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Nothing else to say about that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do not think that women, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't like helpless women. And I think that's another misconception, that people think that, oh, just because men want, feminine women doesn't mean that she's helpless. You could be feminine and come to the range. You could be feminine and fire to 380, fire to 38. You know what I mean? You can fire that 9mm. You can fire that shotgun that's behind me and still be feminine. You know what I mean? So, there's kind of, when I tell people, I'm like, think it through. There are dudes out there who do want the real helpless woman is just out there like, I can't do nothing. I can't lift nothing up. All right. There are dudes out there who are looking for that. I am not among those men. Miss AKA lady, if we're in danger and you hide behind me or leave me or in any way not be protective, then we are done. Facts. Respect over. He can go submit to the person that almost hurts me. Hey, facts. Brother Mandrell, I hate to agree with Miss AKA, but she's right. Consistency is key. Right? I mean, consistency, but like I said, from both ends. I think it has to be, both parties need to be consistent. And I think that's another thing that women don't, a lot of women today who fall into the feminist thing, take care of me. I don't bring nothing to the table. I am the table. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to clean. I don't know how to work the washing machine. Right? I need you to cook for me. I need you to clean our house. I need you to bring the money home. Nah, love, we ain't doing all that. But I'm not mad at women who say these things, right? Because where'd they get it from? Well, I mean, the simpletons are out there. That's what the simpletons will do. They'll put you on that pedestal. So I'm not mad. You got women who have all these options. Just like, well, you need to do all these things because these dudes will do it. It's like, all right, well, go holler at them. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Brother Cody and Miss Glow Girl, absolutely. But ideally, she doesn't want to have to. Right. She shouldn't have to. Wonderful 34 is in the house. What's good, fam? What's good? Good to see you. Always a pleasure to see you, brother. Thanks for coming through. Miss AKA and Mandrell, I stay in the right. There y'all go. Y'all having fun. Brother Dusto, I'll be in Alabama this weekend. Alabama, man, it might be cold, bro. I'm gonna be there. I'll be there Friday and I'll be there the Friday after, man. I'm not traveling. So that's my oasis, man. That's my getaway, bro. I'll be in there. I got that thing Friday night with the fellas and I'm going to leave that event and go straight to dance. And then I'm going to go home. So yeah, we got that going on. And let's see, we got Red Lipstick Vibes in the house. What's good, sis? Always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to see you. I see you in the back. We'll bring you up in a second. Just catching up with the chat. I've been trying to catch a live over there with you, girl. I'm gonna come over there and jump on your panel and start acting up. I plan to, but I'm always showing support. Thanks for being here. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Appreciate y'all. And then we got Brother Hayoka in the back. He's gonna come up and he's gonna talk about some of the I'm assuming probably explain what he meant by some of the back and forth in the chat more likely. Mandrell said, give me a sec. So cool. We're gonna keep going until Mandrell gets here. How about that? Life of Cash. I do think we need to concede the point to the ladies. Women can do anything because the world has been made to be safe, comfortable, and modern. Most of the world. Not all of the world. The Western world, the world we know here in America, yeah, it is fairly safe. I mean, straight up, you can, get out of the hood, go to the suburbs, get yourself a nice gated community, you know what I mean? And still have your weapons as a backup, your security systems and all that. Get yourself a nice dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's, that's real safe. I ain't gonna lie to you. A real dog too. I ain't talking about one of those little dogs you can put in your purse. Now, I mean, a German Shepherd, you know what I mean? One of those mean poodles, you know what I mean? A Doberman, like a dog, you know what I mean? Rottweiler, you know what I mean? Get you a dog, you know what I mean? Even like an Akita, get you a dog. Like someone, that's the number one home defense security system is a dog. Ain't nobody coming in your house if it's a dog in there, bro. They ain't coming in there. They're gonna go to the other house and ain't got no dog. You know what I mean? Because there's countermeasures for shutting down the, cutting the power and, blocking cameras. But what you gonna do about that dog? You know what I mean? That's a problem. When you hear that, man, look, I'm trying to tell you. So we got Mandrell here too. So let's bring the brothers up. Brother Heyoka, Brother Mandrell, what's good, fellas?
How are you today? How are you?
What's going on, DL?
Doing all right, man. That's for y'all, man. Thanks for coming up. We gotta get y'all a hand for coming up in here, bro.
Shout out to Miss AKA Lady. I actually agree with her today, much to my chagrin. I didn't want to. And Miss AKA Lady, I think you're a fine woman. I really do. I just want you to know that. But you joined the wrong organization. I'm sorry. We
ain't gonna be talking about no fraternal organizations up in here, man. I don't want to hear all that unless we talking about airborne.
See, I like her too. I like Miss AKA Lady, but
man, leave them AKs alone, man. I got AKs in the family. Man. I mean, look,
I got them in my family too. Yeah, I don't like
legs,
it, but
yeah, they there. You can't get AKs. AKs like legs, bro.
My daddy was a leg. I asked him, why you go to airborne school? Like, man, I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, please. They ain't jumping out no airplane.
Man, my daddy was a leg, and his twin brother, my uncle, was engineer, man, demo expert and airborne, man, in Vietnam. He's jumping with blasting caps wrapped around his ankle. I'm like, man, I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy, man. Y'all out y'all mind.
But he's dealing with demolitions. And we're the crazy ones.
Hey, man, listen. He's jumping with blasting caps around his ankles, bro. Come
exactly,
on,
around his ankles. And that's the first thing to hit. Is the ball of your feet.
Bro.
Ball of your feet is the first thing that's supposed to hit the ground. And then next is the calves and shin.
That's it. That's it.
That's what the blasting caps are.
Yeah. Boom. Tell them too much. But Brother Heyoka, I'm pretty sure. Did you want to comment on? I think maybe it was some stuff going on in the chat. I didn't get a chance to read everything. I've been showing everything though, but I want to give Brother Heyoka an opportunity to go ahead and comment on what's going on.
You mean about what was going on in the chat,
or just in general? I wasn't sure. I saw you pop up. I wasn't sure. I'm like, I don't know if he was trying to talk about something that was in the chat, or you going to continue the conversation about disappearing men in America.
Well, I was responding to Miss AK Lady's statement about a 50-year-old man being interested in either a younger woman or an older woman.
All right, go ahead.
With children, with $300,000 from 0 to 18 for a child, for each additional child, that puts you back. Any man at 50 years old who's in his prime would either think one of two things. He would do a cost benefit analysis within it and see which would be better. Me thinking that from that perspective, there's no biological advantage for him, and there's no economic advantage for him. And because of that, the incentive would probably be for the younger woman. There's an article recently out that they did a report that women who are younger and healthier tend to want risk takers, but a lot of them also are going after older men because the younger guys have no economics, which is what you were talking about earlier. Because their economics are bad, it's forcing them to go after men who are more established. And that in itself is making it so that everybody can't get those men. And that's going to cause hyper competition. Because as those men have children, there's only so many males among those children to inherit from that man. And so what happens is that you have an even greater situation going on because of hypergamy. Women aren't picking men who have nothing. So they're going after the men who have something, and the men who have something are, let's say, the 20%, but they can only have so many children. And unless you're an Elon Musk, and even if you look at him, I think he has how many kids? I think maybe 10 tops.
Yeah, man, they don't know how many he got, man. But and that's a good point because it does boil down to competition and the cost. So those numbers you got, I've seen numbers about that. The 300,000 it costs to raise a child. Do you, off the top of your head, do you remember what study that was, just so people know where they can go find it?
Not right off the bat.
That's fine, because I can't think of it either, but I read it too, and I know the USDA covers that sort of thing. And I want to say it was one of the banks that did a couple surveys. Man, I want to say Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley did one, and they're saying the average cost now to raise a child from 0 to 17 or 18, I think it was like $300,000. The average cost to raise a child. Brother Mandrell, the question was, would a 50-year-old man be interested in only a younger woman, like a woman in her 20s, or would he be interested in a woman in her 40s who may have some kids? And that was the question. So would a 50-year-old man be more interested in a younger woman in her 20s who don't have any children, or would he be interested in a woman in her 40s who has some kids? What are your thoughts on that?
Depends on what that man's looking for, right? Yeah, that's what these subjects are much more nuanced than we give them credit for. You know, it does depend. Yeah, but so say if a guy's looking to, say he's 50 years old and he's established, his finances are together, you know what I'm saying? He's stable, you know, and he's looking to now start a family. Okay, he might look for someone younger. The likelihood of him looking for someone younger, way up here. That's the likelihood. But if he's just looking for somebody to ride out life with, he might go for someone around his age or a little younger, like in her 40s. You know what I'm saying? Just to ride out life with, you know what I'm saying? The rest of life. Because I'm 44, right? Well, look at it. I got 20 more good years in me. Good ones. The rest, I don't know. It might be downhill, but you know what I'm saying? But I got 20 more real good ones, real strong years in me left. I'll be 64 in 20 years. You know what I mean? So, like right now at 44, I'll be looking for a woman to start a family with. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, if a family is what I wanted. So yeah, you can probably go younger, but 50-year-old man, well established. If you're looking for a family, he's probably going to go younger. You can't be surprised by that. You know. Now, is he going to be able to tolerate somebody in their 20s? Just the difference in mentality? I don't know. That's a different story. But like I don't see how anyone can put up with that. I'm in my 40s, and I'm like, I listen to 20-year-old chicks talk. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? How is he going to deal with that part? I don't know, DL. But
exactly. Brother Hayoka, go ahead. I know you want to jump in there.
Two things. That was the U.S. Department of Agriculture about these statistics, and actually it's 310,000, or about $17,000 a year. Brother Mandrell, that 64 is coming quicker for me than it is for you. But the demographic is that nearly at every age, men find the ages between 20 and 24, 23 the most attractive.
Well, that wasn't a question, but and I agree with that stat because that's when women are the most attractive. Let's be honest.
But also the most fertile.
No shade, ladies. No shade, ladies. No shade.
But also the most fertile.
Yes, of course.
You're at the peak of your fertility. So the thing about it is that there's also an evolutionary reason for that too. You know, when Brother Cody and Deal were talking earlier about changing the dynamic that we have going between men and women, the only way that you can do that is to really get down to the core belief system as to what is going to be a survival strategy, the best survival strategy that they can make. They're constantly in 300,000, yeah. But they're constantly battling one another, the two reproductive strategies. And because of that, what happens is that the woman in her 20s, this man would be starting off biologically, he would be invested, okay, because they would be his offspring. Economically, he would be invested because he would want to take care of his offspring. In the other scenario, he has no power. In order of importance, the children come first, then she comes, and then him. So the incentive is not for him to do that necessarily.
Now I hear where you're coming from, bro, and these are classic red pill talking points, and I get the science behind it. But with Miss AKA lady's question, we're kind of, it's kind of gonna, take a slight divergence away from the hardcore red pill answer, because what you're saying is true. But when you're talking, like, it's like what Mandrell said, pretty much identically what I said, and he wasn't even in the chat when he heard when I said it. It depends on the guy and the woman at that point. If you got you got the 52-year-old dude who has kids and he's built himself up and he went through divorce, and got wrecked in family court or whatever. He's not gonna look for some 20-something to have kids with. He's done. He's done. He doesn't want any more kids. He already has that set up. And it goes to what Mandrell was saying. Why then would I deal with some, 20-something-year-old? You can't talk to them. Are you serious? You know what I mean? It's like Mandrell said, it's like, yes, please. I'll be sitting there trying to gouge my eye out with a screwdriver, trying to listen to it just to get away. But I'm going to the hospital, you know what I mean? But so that guy would want a 40-year-old. Yeah, she already has kids. And let's say their kids are about the same age or roughly like grown or almost grown. Now you got someone that you vibing with or whatever. Y'all have a lot in common. It's worth the risk. But I'm just saying that to kind of clarify it. But you're absolutely right. Like, I agree with what you're saying about the imperative to have kids. If you're gonna have kids, you're gonna have a younger woman and the rest of it. But the thing with the manosphere and with these conversations, a lot of the time we get lost in the scientific data of it all. You know what I mean? Like, for dudes, I tell dudes, the scientists, like, hey man, this is it. Here are the data points. This is what I think it means, and this is how I think it might be relevant to you. But with women, they just want the answer to their question. Like, hey, you think a 50-year-old man with, who's successful in there would be interested in me? Well, if he has kids, probably not. And I don't mean her individually, like me being a 40-year-old woman with kids. And then the answer comes into play. Probably not. He wants kids, going to go younger. But if he already has kids, then yeah, you got a real good chance of getting this guy. But what you're saying, Brother Hayoka, is facts. You got to compete, ladies. You got to compete. Now, who out there is competing? Mandrell, you think women are out there competing for men, or you think they just sitting back like whatever?
Listen, man, get over that nonsense. Women are not competing for men. They're not. Here's the thing, right? The whole thing is the landscape of society is changing right before our eyes. It largely has changed. Okay, it's taken decades. That's why it took us so long to figure it out and pick up on it, because it's been changing for decades, slowly. That's why it's taken so long for us to pick up on it. But women now, whereas once upon a time, with our grandmothers, they had no choice but to depend on a man because the options were infinitesimal options. They didn't really have much of a choice. My mother, she's in her 60s now. Although they had a choice, it was still much more difficult. So it was easier to marry, start a family, and build something together. And because they had more options, they could build more. So that's what, like, people like myself who came at the tail end of Gen X. Now I'm still in Gen X, but I'm at the last crop of them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what I saw. I saw two people come together and build something together, right? And it worked out splendidly. They were married for over 30 years, and that marriage lasted until death literally did them part. Okay, but now women have nothing but options and opportunities. So now that women are working, they're going to college, getting educated, and they're working, they're getting jobs to where they can survive on their own in today's society. Now they have the choice of the man they choose. And what I see a lot of times, DL, is that now men are now mad because now women have the right to choose and they're not choosing them. Men, hold on. Men, we have that margin of error for us is still just as small as it ever has been. We have very little margin for error. You slip up once, that might be everything. That might be the ball game, depending on the slip up.
Ooh.
Okay. And the thing is, with women, businesses and politicians have learned that it's much more financially viable to market towards women.
So can I ask a series of no questions?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Given, as you pointed out, more women are going to college and getting better jobs, and they're making more money.
Mm-hmm.
Given that, would you say, given the option between a man with nothing and a man with means or economically stable, which do you think that a woman would pick?
It would be the logical choice to pick the man with means. However, we see a lot of women choose the opposite for whatever reason.
I understand that.
For whatever reason.
No, I understand that. Well, see, that's all they have access to. So that aside, what I'm saying to you is this. Now, my next question to you would simply be this: that if that's the case, that a woman would pick a man with better economics, okay, because she has standards now. She's not going to pick that.
No. I didn't say she has standards. I just said she can take care of herself in today's society.
Well, we all have standards.
No, not all.
Good or bad? Wait.
You just proved the point. You just proved the point.
Good or bad? There's standards.
You just proved the point. He just proved the point. When he said no, I didn't mean the standard.
Right? Yeah, he didn't name the standard, but it's like you see the world in the same world me and DL see.
Yeah, but you.
And I see some of the choices. I see a lot of the choices these ladies are making.
But you just pointed it out. When you said no, that's because you have a standard. What I'm saying to you is that it's what you would not accept.
Right.
Okay, I'm saying that there are certain things. If we're already in agreement that given the choice between a man with options and a man without, that a woman would choose a man with options. She has a standard, automatic. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the discrimination.
No, that wouldn't be this. I see a point, but I wouldn't say
that. Something anybody would do. If you don't have a standard, anything will do.
Yeah, well, that's what's going. But the thing is, that's what's going on. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't call that a standard. I would say that's what they want. That's a desire. They want the guy with all the options, but because but hold on. Here's how the pendulum shifts. Because that guy has options, you're probably not going to be one of them. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And that's the thing. You got 80% of the women, for the most part, desiring only 20% of the men.
But that's why I said hyper competition earlier.
But they're not competing. They're just sitting around. The good women go to church, go to work, and go home. They ain't in the gym.
No,
they go to church, go to work, and go home.
Well,
that's what the good women do.
Hold on now. Hold on.
But to get a good man.
Hold on now. Realistic, Sister Realistic has a real good point. Even after you get the man, you are forever in competition, and that's coming from a sister. So ladies, is there competition out there? One's in the chat, ladies. One's in the chat if you have to compete for a man. Two's in the chat if you do not have to compete. We got Scam Likely in the house. Brother Dusto's in the piece. What's good, fam? How you feeling?
All is well.
You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's bring you right
gym.
into it. Wait. Yeah, I see you walking out the gym.
Right.
And you bringing dust or you bringing knowledge, bro? What you bringing? You bringing dust or you bringing knowledge?
Both. Yeah. He's gonna bring both. But like, look, finish my point. The thing is, yeah, women can take. They have options. They have the choice the power to choose now what man they want. But it's a combination of things. Number one, they weren't raised to know what kind of man to look for. Because they weren't raised to be wives. They weren't raised on how to get along with men and work with men. Same thing with the men. Men haven't been raised to be husbands and how to get along and take care of women. And now these kids are grown now. They're in their early 20s. They're in their early 30s. Some of them mid 30s. Right. This goes on from millennial and younger.
I have no disagreement with that. My next question would simply be to you is this: given the choice between an older woman and a younger woman, okay, as far as if a man wants to have children, which would be the best option if he's looking for legacy?
The better option would be the one with the most fertility. So that's the younger one.
Well, hold on. And before y'all get back and forth, Life of Cash, recent study from Pew Research, 60% of women in relationships versus 30% of men. That's what we started the show with that. And again, this show, the episode of this show, Disappearing Men in America, and I was surprised that mainstream media has actually picked this up because we reacted to a CNN expose about this. So yeah, brother, we saw that. We talked about this. So go ahead, you brother Mandrell. You said you would go with the.
The thing is, if you're looking for children, you know what I mean. If that's a high priority and a must-have for you, the logic option would be to go to the woman who's younger because she's more fertile. You know what I'm saying?
You've accomplished all these things.
Mhm.
Okay, obviously you've accomplished them to leave them to somebody. I mean, you're not going to leave it to the state if given the option, right?
Right. Yeah, what you're saying makes sense, but life throws you curveballs, and people don't always do what makes sense.
Well, I would let me drop this in. Let me drop this in, and then we'll bring Brother Dusto into the conversation. As a personal, we make this a personal question. Like, hey, DL, you want a 25-year-old or a 45-year-old? More than likely, I'm going to go with the 45-year-old because I'm not trying to get kids.
You ain't trying to get kids, right? You ain't trying to get kids.
Not,
you know what I'm saying? Like me, my lady's 41. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm 44. I'm like, okay, kids, that's probably not going to happen. So I mean, oh well, you know.
Oh well. So, but again, scientifically speaking, yeah, if you want children, of course you want to go with the younger woman.
You want to deal with that though?
I mean, if you want to have kids, you want to go to the younger woman. So because you want to reproduce. But if you take that off the table, then it doesn't really matter. Brother Dusto,
right?
Dusto, jump in here, bro. Unmute your mic and jump in here.
A little bit of dust and a little bit of knowledge. Here's the deal. I have never heard in real life somebody say, well, I was thinking about having children, but I did the data analysis from 1326 all the way to the 90s. I have never heard that.
I haven't either.
You either want kids and you want some monsters jumping up and down the living room, or you don't. A woman either wants monsters with 2 teeth coming to bite her or not. That's how it works.
So you're talking on an individual basis. You're not talking about on a statistical basis.
I have never heard someone talk about data analytics to children. They want them or they don't.
But what I'm saying to you is simply this: is that what you're referring to as an individual. It's not. You're not looking at the group. When you look at the group, it's just like I said. This Mr. K lady. 40% of men have no children. Okay. Now, group. I can say that. I can say, listen, statistically, as a group, these men have no children. The individual is going to vary. So you will never hear a person say that. I would imagine that you would.
I'm gonna leave it alone because the data be killing me on these. It'd be killing me. But all I'm saying is this: person wants kids or they don't. A person sees a woman, they want her or they don't. Just like a woman, because there's a lot of dudes that think it's about the protect and provide and the money. And if he's 57 and he's making $167,000, this woman knows if she wants to deal with this man for 8, 12, 14 hours a day for 20, 30 years. That has so much more to do with, is he appealing and are they connected through conversation and emotion? That comes way before the money and everything else. Do they like you or do they not? There are a lot of men who make a lot of money and no one likes them. They're not getting any women. There are some men who people like. They are getting women of all ages. I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right.
What he's referring to, you would find in the art of seduction as the anti-seductive males. But what I'm referring to is simply this. I should say in relationship to what you're saying, Brother Dusto, is that when you look at it from a global perspective, not the individual. I can't speak for the individual. Individual's going to make whatever decision that they get or not. Okay. What you before you can even come to conversation and emotion, okay, you come to what it looks like. Okay, and that's going to be whether you have a person with resources or not. They're going to, you know as well as I, okay, given the choice between a mansion and a cardboard box, most women are going to choose the mansion. That's an emotion and conversation hasn't even come into it.
Yeah, but here's a problem that I find with the whole conversation, though.
That is not true.
Well, hold on. We'll let Dusto. Hold on. We'll let Mandrell go, and then we'll bring you in.
My issue with the whole conversation is that, and everything that we're saying is no one's talking about building with each other. No one's talking about putting your money together, saving your money, waiting to buy a house or buy a car. What kind of bar? No one's having that conversation at all in any of these spaces. Period. And that's the one thing that's missing. What we're talking about is something that very few women are going to be qualified to get in the first place. Because the men in the top 1%, he's looking for a certain kind of woman. And 99% of women ain't it.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. But you have 80% of the women going after only 20% of the men in that tax bracket, 20%, the top 20 percentile. But once you take out all the men who are married, and you take out all the men who are gay, and all the men who are asexual, and all that nonsense, once you take all that out and just get to the single dudes, you're down to about 1%. So you got 80% of the women going after about 1% of the men. So, I mean, this is something that most women are not going to have. And no one's teaching women nor men how to get along with one another, or how to build together.
Now,
I mean, because here's the thing. What my man here is saying, what's his name again, Dio?
Hayoka.
Well, what Hayoka is saying, yeah, I can't argue with him because they're facts. However,
I got pushback, but not against Mandrell.
Okay, fair enough. But
my point. Oh, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, I was about to say, okay. But my issue with having all these conversations, okay, why don't we teach people how to build together? Because that's clearly something that that's a lost art. DL, we don't know how to do that anymore. We don't know how to start. We don't know how to start from nothing together and build a legacy, a dynasty.
Because
everyone's talking about legacy. How about building dynasties?
But women don't have to anymore. That's the
thing. They do.
No. They do it if they want to be
successful. You take what you get. You take what you
teaches. But here's the thing: feminism teaches us that you don't need a man.
Why are we listening to that? That's nonsense.
Brother Joe said it earlier when he said that women are going to college and they don't need a man
to survive.
How do we get to feminism?
To survive. Now, here's the thing: you go and get your college degree. You go and get your job. Okay, you find a guy who's stable enough to keep a job or earn steady income and has stable income, and you build something together with it. You take what you got, I take what I got. Let's put this shit together. One pot. Okay, now here's what we're going to do with this. This amount we're going to save. This amount we're going to invest. Okay, and we'll put our heads together and figure out what we're going to invest in. And we're going to take this rest of here and think of a business to start with this money.
Sounds good on paper, just like communism. Let's hold on. Let's get Let Dusto go.
Y'all skip 8 steps. And a couple things. Number one, when you bring up feminism, you're talking about women who don't qualify for marriage anyway. Don't talk to them.
Yeah, there you go.
They're not for marriage.
That's a good point.
Now, if you're talking about marriable woman and a marriable man, the first thing they need to do is talk. That means he got to smile at her and he has to appeal to that woman so she stops what she's doing and has a conversation. If the first thing that comes out of his mouth, hey, honey, I was doing some data analysis and I just wondering if the bag that I had, it's a wrap. He lost. He ain't getting that woman. But if the man knows how to talk to the woman and communicate, because you have to maintain it, and he presents a man that she wants to spend her time with, that's when you can start talking about the bag and the resources and whatever. But she got to want to be with this dude.
Brother Scam Likely. If I walk up and I look like I'm homeless, okay, and my clothes are filthy and everything like that, before we even get to a conversation and get to the emotional part, what do you think the reaction is going to be?
I said appeal comes first, then comes conversation.
Appeal is visual. That's a display of resources.
No, it's not a display of resources.
Well, then it doesn't matter what I look like.
A part of it is. But it's a matter of when she sees you, does she smile and does she want to give you a hug? That's a yes or no. Then it's does she want to talk to you?
The part no woman on the chat is going to say that she's going to sit there and let a homeless man hug her. 9 times out of 10, it's going to feel unsafe. So when you say appeal, what you mean is the look of resource.
What I'm saying? No, what I'm saying is everything you're saying is resources. Most of the women don't know who got money and who doesn't. If we walk in Walmart, you don't know if I'm broke or not. Right now, you don't know if Mandrell is employed or not. You don't know. You don't know if DL Saint is homeless in his mom's basement or if he's in a mansion. But just like women and even men, Women connect, we're talking about sexually and all that, whatever, but there's a common friendly connection of why we're on this platform based on just, can we rock with what he's saying or not? That's just conversation and communication.
Well,
Women, it works the same way. I'm just saying that just as an example to make it understand. Meaning, we don't go in a line and say, excuse me, how many resources do you have?
No,
When we
no,
pick
what
our
you do,
friends.
no, what you do is you
And,
look at
and women don't walk up and say, excuse me, we're in the club, but I need to walk out to the car and see where your car is parked, and I need to see if it's paid
ask
for or
the
not.
ladies in the chat whether they would walk up to a homeless man who looks like he's dangerous.
Hold on,
I didn't say homeless. No,
Before we even get to
I didn't say homeless. What I'm saying is this. There's 3 dudes all wearing the same shirt, a red collar shirt and some blue jeans. They don't know which one's a millionaire, which one got abs. Well, they can tell who got the abs. But a lot of the dudes can look a form of the same, but one of them get 20 ladies and one of them get 0. Or a dude can have the resources, talk to the lady, and she can't stand it. He's going to lose that woman. They have to deal with the person every day. And if the personality ain't there and the connection ain't there, she will be gone, regardless of resources.
Can I say this? Can I just say this one last thing real quick?
Real quick.
You know, the difference between Chad walking up to a woman and saying, "You look nice today, Laura," and somebody who's heavy set and they're dressed in a clean way and everything. They're heavy set, they got pimples and everything all over their face, and they go up and say, "Oh, you look nice, Laura," is the difference between going to HR or not.
Now I do agree with that. Now let me jump in real quick because we kind of what Mandrell was saying. I wanted to address a couple things that Mandrell was talking about. You know, building together, right? Coming together. I agree with him wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? And the women who have, I would argue, women who have successful relationships, women who are successfully married, on some level did just that. They chose a guy who they believed had potential, and then they grew with that man. I've seen, like I said, I've only seen one relationship from start to end. And they did that. They had nothing in the beginning, and they built themselves together. They built a kingdom, right? They raised their kids right, did it good. And I'm talking about my man Jay Swans and his beautiful wife Ned. I watched them do it. They had nothing. And Jay Swans, if he were here, he would tell you, if I did something wrong and I messed up with my wife, she should get everything because I would have nothing if it weren't for her, right? So I would agree that that's the way. But there are so many women, and this is, shout out to Rich Cooper. Today's woman, she's not trying to build with anybody, right? She's waiting at the finish line and she wants to smash the winner. So I agree with what Brother Mandrell is saying. I'm hearing the disconnect between Dusto and Brother Hyoka, and it's like, bro, I think we all agree. If a homeless dude walks up to me, I'm probably going to punch him. You trying to hug me? Dude, get back. You a threat. You know what I mean? He could be the richest man on the planet. I ain't trying to hear that, bro. You got snot hanging out your nose and everything. Back up, cuz. You know what I mean? I'm doing all that. But that's an extreme, right? Brother Dusto, now we're in these trenches. We see what it is. And there's game out there. There's people who are falling for different finesses. And a woman doesn't know. A man doesn't know. You don't know when you walk up to that woman if that's the woman that's a good woman. I don't know when I walk up to a woman if that's going to be like a woman like Miss AKA Lady or Miss Globe Girl or Sister Candace or Suzette Speaks, you know what I mean? Or Sister the Sosa or Rest. I don't know if it's that type of woman or if it's a 304. It's going to take time to figure that part out. You know what I mean? And most people aren't making it through that process because by the time I realize she a 304, I done smashed anyway and I'm off to the next one. If you that type of dude. Or if you're an old man like me, when I realize, too many red flags, I'm off to the next one. I don't even want the sex. Baby, you can keep that. You know what I mean? So, there's a lot of us talking past the real point. The point is, as a society, we're not being taught as men or women what Mandrell just said. And I believe he's right. I believe it with all my heart. You should be building with someone. I think if you meet someone young, you have a far better chance of making it to the finish line together. You know what I mean? And I think that's what a disconnect is. Now, what do we do about that disconnect, fellas? I don't know. What do we do about that disconnect? Brother Hyoka, what's your take on that?
I'm like, because of hypergamy, you have a situation where most women don't want to spend money on a man anyway. Given that option, because hypergamy is about the children, it's not about the woman. So building together, yeah, it sounds good, and just like each individual man or person is going to, or man or woman is going to vary, so will the woman and the man. But as a group, women do not wish to have to take care of a man. If you can't take care of it, it's like displaying emotional instability in front of a woman. As soon as you don't have it, she's gone.
Okay, let's pause right there. Let's pause right there, Brother Dusto,
Yeah,
and then
I got
brother.
pushback. Go ahead.
Brother Dusto, and then we'll go with Brother Mandrell. Go ahead with your pushback, Brother Dusto.
A lot of people base women out here, the people who are looking to date and marry, but they base everything on marriage based on the women who aren't wired.
Uh-oh. Dusto, you're going through a bad area, bro. Dusto, you're going through a bad area. Can you hear me? Hey, Dusto, you're going through a bad area, bro. We can't hear you. We're gonna go to Mandrell. Brother Mandrell, what Brother Hayoka said, I can see where he's coming from. You know what I mean? I can see where he's coming from. I'm not pushing back, but I see where he's coming from. What's your thoughts? And before you do that, hey y'all, look out. We got trouble in the house, boy. We got trouble in the house. Tarus on the panel. Y'all mean, but brother Mandrell, go ahead. Hey, brother Mandrell.
Yeah, I think the last time I heard him say is the moment you don't have the resources anymore, she's gone.
Well, no, he was talking about women don't want to take care of men. I was going to see.
Well, here's the thing. Women don't want to take care of men. Again, that's because we're not teaching them how to be wives. You're not going to be on top the whole time when you're married, gentlemen. You just, unless you're already established and everything goes perfectly throughout the entire time, But there may be times in a marriage where the guy might lose his job, his business might tank and go belly up. And guess what, ladies? This is why marriage is not. This is why marriage it swings on a pendulum. There's going to be times where the man carries the brunt of the load, but there may be temporary pockets in there where, ladies, you might have to carry the load while he regroups and gets things together, so he can take that load off your shoulders again. It's give and take. That's the give and take of a marriage. Now, here's the thing, DL. I say that,
and you get that way. You say
here's the thing. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now, you're gonna have a lot of women in your chat and watch this broadcast later on who will agree with what I'm saying. But I guarantee you that you put it in actual practice, they're gonna go right back to what he said. If it comes down to where the pressure's on them, they're out. The women are not taught loyalty. Boys are not taught loyalty. We're not taught these things. That's why we, in my opinion, we should be teaching these things online. Because you got people out here really looking for answers.
That's what we're trying to do with this platform. And I want to say this, and then I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna hand it off to Brother Tarus. These things, these values used to be taught, right? Even in the hood, from the suburbs to the hood. I was taught as a young man that I should be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Right. And I was taught that by the Boy Scouts of America. But no one's teaching these things anymore. Right. And think about that. I was a young kid. I was barely in my teens when they taught me that. It's still with me today. I'm 52 years old. I learned the Scout laws when I was 13 years old. Brother Tarus, welcome.
Good evening, DL, Mandrell, Hayoka. Good talking to you guys again.
Oh, it was a pleasure, bro.
I've been listening to you guys. That was Cody earlier, right?
Yes, sir. Cody King was in the house, boy. What was y'all at, bro? We set up a show. We're gonna have you and Cody on the show, man. Me and Cody working on that right now.
Bro, DL, if you set that up, you know how wild that's just gonna
I'm setting it up. He already said it. I probably lose the platform. I have to start over from scratch, but I don't care. We're gonna do it. But go ahead, bro.
Look, this might make me sound a little bit Myron and Precious, but you guys put way too much stock in constantly worrying about what the women think, what she thinks about you. Like, bro, like, I love my wife, DL, I've been married for 15 years. Bro, I'm a little botanist now. I finally ain't got to go to the plug and spend 200, on a zip, because guess what? I got my own shit now. I could grow my own stuff. That's a skill set though. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm learning how to garden and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Guess what? That ain't got nothing to do with any woman. Like your setup. Look at everything you got in your setup in the attic, bro. This is the kind of stuff you're doing that keeps you engaged. That ain't got nothing to do. Hell, it ain't got nothing to do with anybody else. Never mind. You know what I mean? Who you dating or who you not. Like too many guys. You guys again. Pause. You suck the fun out of everything. Every time y'all talking about relationships, it's and I mean y'all metaphorically, it just sounds so utilitarian and boring and robotic and dry as hell. Like,
But you know what that is,
what?
bro? Let me jump in real quick. You know what that is?
What?
Because so many men don't know. It goes back to what Mandriel was saying. So many men haven't been taught and they don't know. So Brother Hayoka and I can sit here and we can quote the data points. We can tell you the numbers, right? We can, when we make statements like, women don't build, they wait at the finish line and they smash the winners. We got the numbers to back that up, right? When you look at the divorce rate, we back that up. You know what I mean? 70 to 90% of marriages are divorces are filed by women. So, but what I'm trying to do is, and this is why I love having y'all on the panel, especially Brother Hayoka, is when we have these numbers, I think on this panel especially, there's an opportunity to mesh the numbers with the real world and try to come up with a way that's helpful for all concerned. Now, yes, to your point, Tarus, yes, we are mostly men-centered over here because, dude, like it or not, I'm part of the manosphere. You know what I mean? I'm part of this rare pill world. It's my version of it. So it's going to come from a male perspective. But Brother Cody and I were just saying, like, hey, should we have some shows when we talk about the female perspective? Because I was saying to him, this before you guys jumped on, like these women, man, they really don't have a lot of good choices out here. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at the bottom 80. Of the bottom 80, it's not a whole bunch of them that's really worth hollering at, in my opinion. These dudes aren't doing the work. They need to do the work first. And since I used Brother Hayoka's name, I want him to go ahead and respond real quick.
I would say like this, that when we give the numbers and we give the statistics, it's just information. What you do with it is what you can do with it. Okay, if I tell you that it's going to rain tomorrow and you say, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow, that means that, Steve, you feel bad or this way about it. That's not the point. The point would be whether you want to use an umbrella or not. So when you look at it, when I'm pointing out, what I'm pointing out is simply this, is that because we know that most women don't want to take care of a man, we also know that most women want the best, given the options that they have on hand. If that's the case, then what happens is that when we go back to the disappearing of men in America, which is what this is about, what you'll find is that those men, that 20% that's left over, can only have so many children, which means that you're going to be looking at hyper competition coming down the pipe, and a lot of women that don't have a relationship or don't want a relationship with a man, only because it's either the high value man who has capabilities or no man at all. Right, now, when young, you might be looking at the genetics. This is why they have the kids. But when they get older, they're looking for somebody to take care of them, or as Brother Mandrell said, somebody to take the load.
Yeah, I mean, like look at someone like me. I'm at my point. I got 5 years, basically. 5 school years, and my daughter is grown. And then all I'm looking for is someone to spend the rest of my life with. Like Brother Mandrell said, dude, 78. I might, if I'm lucky, I might see 85, depending on how good medicine gets. Because men in my bloodline don't tend to go that long. Primal studies. Dads should be teaching their sons loyalty. It shouldn't have to be online. Like you shouldn't have to learn online. And
Dad's actually got to be present first.
Well, I don't want to open that can of worms, but there are a lot of men who are absent from their child's life because of this society that we have created and the structure of laws that we have created. I want to get Brother Dusto back in here because he drove into a bottle and had to jump out the car and turn on the camera.
Yeah. Just a couple things, then I just let it be what it is. Women are looking for men that they like.
that comes before the resources. If they don't like you, they're going to find a way to not be there. It happens every day. Connection, communication. And another thing, the red pill keeps doing this. All the divorces is based on finances. That is not true. Number one reason is communication. Number two is infidelity. Number three is incompatibility, I think it was. Then is finances. And when they're divorcing over finances, it doesn't mean they woke up one day and said, hey, you're only making $63,000. I'm going to divorce you and go get a man making 65. It usually means somebody did something, gambling addiction, and screwed up some money. Because if people divorce over money, they go out and become broker. It doesn't even make sense.
Dusto, how many times have you heard women initiate the divorce because they man and gambled their savings account in Vegas?
I've actually heard men screw up.
You know what I
money.
mean?
No,
Well, let me say this real quick.
But I've never heard you marry him when he's making 45. He works and gets to 60, and then you divorce him over money. That doesn't even make sense. But red pill keep telling you that.
Well,
doesn't even make sense.
Not really. Well, here's the thing. First thing I want to count the thing y'all said about gambling the money away. I do know of a couple where the money was gambled away, and the other spouse didn't know, right? And they're still married today, right? It was the wife who gambled away all of the 401k money. We're talking about $850,000, I think it was, and the husband did not leave her. He was law enforcement. He just, he couldn't. He was going to retire early, and he couldn't. He kept her, got her help, and he went to work and continued to work. He's probably still working to this day. This was out in California, right? And I'm here to tell you, bro, that man had I would have left her. I would have left her. But that just goes to show you how rare it is that men walk away from women. Now, that's a serious thing, Brother Dusto. If a man spends up all the money, that woman is going to leave him 70 to 90% of the time, right? Right. It is, and then she don't even need a reason. It's no fault divorce. Again, this society we have built is part of the problem. Go ahead.
You're cleaning up with what? Like the way that they're pitching in the red pill is the dudes aren't making enough money. So 10 years in the marriage, the woman just walks out and says, I'm gonna get a rich guy. That's the way they paint it. If you were making more money, your woman would have stayed. No.
Brother Dusto.
Problems with money being the reason why they're leaving because
Dusto. Brother DL had a show the other day where he talked about the psychologist Greg Matos. Greg Matos did an article in Psychology Today that indicated that the reason why most men aren't in relationships, they have not stepped up economically. There's economic disconnect. The women don't want the men because the men don't make the money.
That's not true. I'll explain.
It's not true at all.
No, I'll explain.
Hold on 1 second. One second. We're going 1 second, and then Dusto, you want to go first? You want to after I'm done, or you want Tarusa go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, so all right, real quick. This is funny. And I put it up here because I wanted to make sure that you saw this, bro. This is for you. This is Brother Jose. DEA is watching. You know what I mean? You and your little garden, bro.
It don't matter because I'm in Ohio, baby. Medical. And I got PTSD, combat veteran. It don't matter.
Hey, yo, DEA. Hey, y'all. This dude over here, look. He got a garden, not me. He got a garden. Stay out of y'all stay out of me.
Hey,
we both light skinned. We both light skinned and bald. Look.
And
we both light skinned. We both light skinned. We both bald. We both was in the military. Don't kick in the wrong door, DEA. Make sure y'all get the right door. All right, Brother Dusto, go ahead, man.
I forgot what I was talking about.
We were talking about women. Because you're saying like the red pill will have you believe. Okay, go ahead.
I remember what it was. Okay. Supposedly in America, what it is, just all the women want the rich guy. So when you go to the clubs, dudes with the W-2s and everything hanging out on the side, because they know everybody who got the money. The women, they just know. So they got W-2s and everything's validated. And they got all the women. So when you go into middle class apartments and lower class neighborhoods, there's no kids because all those men there can't get any women. So all the kids are in upper class homes. Because that's who's getting all the women.
Now I do want
Right?
to make a comment, but I want to go after
Or do you
Charus. I think
see,
Charus want to say something after you
right?
finish.
Or do you see most of the men with the more money are already married, or they're single and they don't have any children because they make responsible decisions. So who is making all these kids? You have to get a woman to make kids, and they're making multiple and multiple and multiple kids. And if you go somewhere, you see regular cars with regular people. Go to the mall tomorrow. That's what you're going to see. Regular people, a man and a woman together. So that would mean women must like regular guys.
Thank you, Dusto. Because and I got a cosign on that. Because here's the problem. I keep telling y'all, you need to put the real context behind these stats. Because unfortunately, a lot of my fellow guys out there, y'all using these stats as an existential crisis right now. Right? You're all doom and gloom. This is what I told you before, DL. If I was just to take the statistics, then the statistics say that 13% of the population, which is African American, commits 50% of the crime. And yet, when you actually put the context around it, it's more like 35%, while that's still a large number, is responsible for the crime. But guess what that 35% of Black Americans make up? 4% of the population. So 4% of the population, which just so happens to be Black Americans, commit half of the crime. That doesn't hit as hard as 13 to 50%, does it?
It's violent. They commit 50% of the violent crimes.
Yeah, just regardless, the stats, if you just take the stats, it doesn't tell you anything. Like Heyoka example, I'm sorry, Heyoka, I got to get on you, bro, because guess what? If you keep telling me I need an umbrella, and then for the next week or so, it's sunny as hell, I'm not going to listen to anything you got to say because you keep trying to predict the weather, but the weather's wrong.
I have to agree with Tarus for once.
Like, bro, you can't keep predicting doom and gloom, and then these women go outside and it's sunny. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen to the guys who are constantly doom and gloom. Like, bro, y'all just so. Like, bro, I thought I got mental problems. Y'all make me seem like the freaking optimistic one.
Right.
You
Now,
brother Tarus is acting like he's alone and having issues. We all do, brother.
yes.
Go ahead.
And I'll say this real quick. You know what I mean? Because I never use the rain analogy, right? Like, oh, you know, I live in Central Florida, bro. If you tell me it's gonna rain tomorrow, you're probably right. You know what I mean? I don't care. I ain't worried about getting wet. You know what I mean? But I do say this. You know, when people, especially when dudes talk about getting married, when guys talk about getting married, I don't think anyone on this panel would argue with the divorce stats, right? We can agree half of our marriages fail, half of marriages succeed, right? We can agree that. So if I tell you in the house and I tell you, hey, bro, over the next 45 days, there's a 50% chance that somebody's going to throw a brick and hit you in the head. 50% chance, bro, right? When you go outside, you're going to be looking for dudes with bricks. At a minimum, you're going to put a helmet on. You feel me? Because that's just, man, hold on. It's a 1 in 2 chance somebody going to hit me in the head with a brick. Let me go ahead and put on this. I'll be like, Charus, let me borrow your helmet.
All 5 of us would put the helmet on. But these guys out here, most of these guys in these spaces, what we was talking about yesterday, they're not going to come outside because it's 50% chance they might get hit with a brick. So they're going to stay inside like a caveman, like a little hermit, and start whining about society while everyone else is living their life.
They'll either do that or they won't put a helmet on, but they'll go raw dog the very chick that just got divorced 6 weeks ago.
Okay. Now let's switch it up. Let's switch it up. So that's the one thing right off rip. All right, cool. I agree with you. I do. I agree with everyone. All I want to say is this. They still need the knowledge. And it's like what Brother Heyoka said. Do what you want with that knowledge. You ain't got to put the helmet on. You can get hit in the head with the brick. You might dodge the brick. You might see dude coming with the brick, pull your heat out and engage him first. Whatever. Do what you want with the information. Yes, there are a lot of doom and gloomers over there, brothers. Yes, I know. And that's why DL Saint is here. Like, you know what? We gotta give brothers another alternative, another way to get this information.
No, DL, this is the problem, bro. And this is why I'm not charitable when it comes to men and being leaders and responsibility. This is why I'm so hostile toward men. The red pill, the manosphere, however you want to call it, has existed for some time now. So there isn't anything new that Heyoka has said. There's nothing necessarily new that DL or Mandrell or Dusto or I have said. At some point, you got to do something with the information. You can't, because you're not intelligent if you could just speak off a bunch of facts. What makes you intelligent is taking that information and using it to actually better your life. So if you're going to go watch a workout, if I'm going to go watch Myron and Fresh and Fit, yo, Jesus Christ. But if I'm going to watch them two, like the Day Show when they're talking about finances, but then I don't do anything to actually practice the first steps of finances, what am I doing? I can't blame that on women. It's not women's fault that I have the inability to take initiative.
So,
and you're right. Go ahead, Brother Hayoka. Go ahead.
So I would ask this, Brother Tarus. Ignorance is bliss. We can discard the statistics and the facts or whatever conclusions we came to, but then we have nothing. Okay, we have only our personal experiences to go by. We can do that if that's what you would like. In which case, what happens is I can say, well, in my neighborhood, it rains all the time. If I was in Seattle, it rains all the time. Okay, so when I say
the umbrella in the car, right?
Huh?
Just in case. So you keep the umbrella in the car then, just in case.
Yes, but the thing about it is, I'm saying to you that we can go by ignorance and say we can discard all the information that we have at our disposal. What does that get us? Nothing.
What's crazy is I gotta counter that, because here's the problem. The more information you men are getting because you're staying single longer, the worse it's getting. The longer you get all this, clearly ignorance is bliss, because the more you learn, the more doomer these people are getting.
All right, hold on, real quick. Hold that thought for a second. Let me just don't forget it. Just give me 1 second. XFO says it does suck to see men having whole life sucked out of them with no motivation to be better or achieve. Doomer mentality sucks to see. This goes to Dusto's favorite topic, and victimhood. Right? There's a lot of victims out here. Brother Hayoka, go ahead.
I went. To give you an example, it bothered me for a while because I had a doctor who looked at me and told me, he said, well, you need to walk. That's part of your therapy. And he was weighing 400 pounds in a sweatsuit. And he was like between 30 and 35. Now I knew this man probably had intimacy problems. I knew that he probably suffered from depression and things like that. Okay. What I'm saying is that I didn't use the information in order to give him a negative outlook or anything like that. When you get information is neutral. What you do with it is what you decide to do with it. It's the same thing. I agree with Brother Tarus in the sense of saying that something needs to be done. But if you didn't have the information, you wouldn't even know that there was something that needed to be done.
But Hayoka, you guys and I haven't been here that long, but when I'm saying you metaphorically.
I understand.
This information is out there. At some point, these guys going to be held responsible to actually take the information and practice it. It's like, even if I was to say all of your stats are correct with all of the context, Hayoka, isn't it still upon me to use those statistics to actually do something about that in my life instead of just grievances?
Or we can go and hold every young man at gunpoint and tell them that you need to achieve excellence.
No, we don't. No. Hold on. And see, this is the thing that this is where the conversations kind of get too splintered for me. This is why I made this platform.
No, I'm saying right? you can't force somebody to do something. They have to do it on their own accord.
Well, and that's where I'm gonna get to right here. Here's an analogy for you, right? So right now, Mandrill had to step away. But everyone on this panel is a veteran, I think, with the exception of Brother Hayoka. Brother Hayoka, did you serve? I don't think you did.
No.
Okay, so everyone on here has been trained to use the M16. Every last one of it. Everyone on here has been trained to react to an ambush. Everyone on here has been trained in combat, right? Hand to hand. We know how to fix bayonets. We know how to throw hand grenades, all that, right? Now, here's the thing. Your drill sergeant or whoever was instructing you told you what to do with that weapon. But your drill sergeant is not going to be with you when it's time to use that weapon down range.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is this. I will give you the information. I will give you the knowledge you need. And I will bring up my brothers like Hyoka and Dusto and Mandrell and Tarus and, you know what I mean, brother Cody. And we will tell you, hey, this is what it is. We'll bring sisters up here like Sister DeSosa, you know what I mean? We'll get Miss AKA Lady, Miss Globe Girl. We're going to give you all the information, including the stats. And it's like Hyoka just said, now it's up to you to do what you will with that information. You put your hand on that hot ass stove, don't come crying to me because you got burned. Now, Sister DeSosa was saying, just don't cry about child support afterwards. Every decision comes with consequences. Agreed. And Ms. DeSosa, go back and watch the replay. We were talking about women making more money, and we think what the future holds for boss babes is alimony and child support payments. We think you guys are gonna have to pay because dudes aren't working. And if you go,
DL, I'm
go
really
ahead.
sorry, but we got to run that back too. I know I went AWOL a little bit, but I still got all my notes from the child support topic we were supposed to have.
Let me know when you want to run it back, bro. We
Yeah.
can always, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You had to go. That's right. We're gonna do that. And brother, oh, I did it, but we'll do another one. But yeah, this is, and brother Mandrell is back. This is a real good conversation, y'all. We coming up on 3 hours. I want to begin to wind it down and end this. Dr. B's in the house, like, y'all still on? Mr. Lot looks like, yeah, we still rocking, bro. We still rocking.
I got a gloom statement. How did we get to child support when he talked about marriage?
There was stuff going on in the chat. There was stuff going on in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because that's the doom and gloom I'll be talking. They go straight to child support, and the woman ain't even there.
Yeah, it was on the
Yeah, it's in the chat. But the point being, you know better. Don't cry about it. Right? We're telling you all these things. I only feel bad for those young men coming up now who didn't have this information. They've been told just work hard and good guys always finish first. And you know what I mean? Life is roses and candy canes because your parents have been bulldozing problems out of your way. You're not prepared. They drop you into this world. You realize you're in a world of shit. You know what I mean? You were told that everything was chutes and ladders, and you get there. Nah, it's you get there and you find yourself in battle. It's this all day long. Get some, baby. Get some. I feel bad for them people. Brother Mandrell, I see you back, man. You heard what we're talking about, man. We're about to wrap this up. We're about to start final thoughts here in a couple minutes. But did anyone want to comment before we get into final thoughts?
Yeah, man. Real quick before we get into final thoughts, Scott, Justo had brought up a very good point with in a broader sense about how we get to child support and we didn't even get to the marriage part yet. Like, again, this comes from men. So many self-inflicted wounds. So many things comes down to a lack of self-discipline. You know what I mean? And again, guys, self-discipline, that's not even relationship related. That's just what you're supposed to have, period. You know what I mean? And that gets back to DL's point, though. We got parents either absent or not teaching their kids shit.
Yeah. Before you go, well, give me one real quick. Brother Doug, $5 super chat, man. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. I can't believe it. For once, I agree with everything Tarus has said tonight. And I've been in this fear for years. And
the
notice
asteroid is going to land. Oh, go ahead.
It's all over, y'all. It's all the San Andreas Fault's about to break into 5 pieces. Brother Hayoka, go ahead.
I look at it and think like this, that with 23 different forms of birth control plus the option of abortion, no child can be born without a woman's consent
in America,
in the West. And because of that, what happens is that if you see a number of single parent female driven households, and that's what's happening, you see that a lot of women are opting to have children rather than be alone. And I have no qualms with that, but it also entails that you have poverty that goes with it. Now you can say, well, listen, I'm going to put them on child support and things like that. But I would also argue and say that the women who protest against Roe versus Wade being overturned, because it would mandate a woman being forced to become a parent, are the same women that have no problem with making a man a parent against his will.
And save that
So-
for another show because we're going to delve into that. That's not this particular show, but we're going to delve into that. But
But
continue.
that was in relationship just to the child support issue. But so I'll leave that alone. So go on with the rest.
Brother Jose with the $5 super chat, man. W stream. Thank you, brother. I truly appreciate you, man. Thank you. I got to get with Black Man Unfiltered. Check out Black Man Unfiltered. Hey, man, Joe, you on tonight? Hey, we're gonna be
Well,
going
we're doing Talk That Talk Tuesday tonight.
Talk That Tuesday. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna come over and support.
Okay.
So make sure you plug that in your final thoughts. We're about to roll in the final thoughts, y'all. But Black Man Unfiltered, I'm gonna hit him up because when you send him super chats, he played these cool ass videos, man, to play music. I want to be able
always
to do
so
that.
talented, man.
Yeah, man. I want to learn how to do that. So y'all send me super chats. I'm gonna start playing music, man. Let me hit him up tonight, as a matter of fact. But let's roll into final thoughts, guys. I just want to thank y'all up front, each and every one of y'all up front, man, for being here and rocking out with us, man. We're gonna go to final thoughts. Brother Tarus is first. What are your final thoughts, man? Remember, the episode was about disappearing men in America.
Yeah, guys, I need y'all to stop disappearing. First off, the self-deletion rates are getting out of control. I was scared, horrified, and now y'all just pissing me off. Stop disappearing, self-deletion, stop disappearing in the workforce. For God's sakes, man, how many times do I gotta go to the mall with my wife and kids and there's nothing but women there because you dudes done disappeared everywhere in all aspects of society? You keep disappearing. Like, I love my fellow guys, but at some point, some aspect of this information that all of these men have been giving you, you have to take it and apply it. Guys, do you think I would have this mortgage in my name and this house if I didn't practice financial literacy? If I didn't make sure I paid my bills on time and had a good credit score? Right? Do you think I would still be married for 15 years if I was just out here being reckless or didn't give a shit or didn't have or had commitment issues? Guys, do you think I'd be married if I just stayed inside the house all fucking day? You guys are disappearing from society because no matter what is being told to you, you refuse to take it at heart and actually practice it in real life. The only way men are going to reappear is if you, the individual, reappear. There's not a woman, a man, a paycheck, or a religion that's going to make you do that. That's a gut check, homie. That's a gut check. Those are my final thoughts.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you, bro. That's for you. Always bringing the thunder, man. Y'all, where can people find you other than here?
BM Unfiltered. If I'm not getting doxxed in the chat, y'all can find me on I'd be on some gay conservative platform. Yeah, gay conservatives, black trans conservative. That was a weird one. You can find me somewhere arguing with Asians about modern minorities. You might have to get off the YouTube space, but you can find me arguing with these white supremacist losers all the time. You could just find me anywhere, man. I'd be out here.
So I guess y'all be finding right here on I Really Want to Know podcast because we're not gonna be in most of those spots you just named. Thanks again, bro. I really appreciate you, man. I'm gonna see you out there. All right, man. Peace. Brother Helka, your final thoughts.
I think that because of the numbers, the statistics, that you're going to have hyper competition going on, and eventually, what you're going to see is there's going to be a push for polygamy. The rationale being is that what happens is that there's not enough high value men or men within that 20% in order to service the other 80% or 100% of the women who are going after them. And so, even as we speak about men disappearing, the numbers aren't going to hold up in the sense of saying that those men can only have so many children, and with so many women competing for them, there's going to be women who have to choose from the other 80% of men that aren't in the competition. So ultimately, you're going to see political changes coming down the pike. just like you see, you know that the she economy is on its way from Morgan Stanley. But a lot of men, unless they move to the point where, which is what Brother Terusa's point is, of becoming self-actualized and becoming successful in every way that they can, they're going to be out of the pool, the gene pool. I guess that's it.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. Brother Helk is always over here. Blessings, man. He's working on his own platform. And yo, when you get your platform up and running, let us know, man. We're gonna come over there and support you. You know what I mean? We're gonna make sure people dox you, and you know what I mean, we're gonna bring all the crazy folks over and get you in trouble. Welcome you properly to these YouTube trenches, bro. Thank you so much for coming through, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks. All right, brothers.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Brother Dusto.
Ladies and gentlemen, the overflow of data and statistics analysis has been poisoning men in the red pill spaces. They're telling you whatever it is that you want to hear about. Well, actually, there's some of them are telling you the truth. You need to learn how to talk to a woman. You need to learn how to communicate and become emotionally intelligent. And women are emotional based. This data is not getting women. No. They don't even know the data. They're emotional. And that's actually what you want, feminine women. Stop evaluating this dating market based on the women that you don't want and can't marry anyway. Stop worrying about child support. You don't even have any kids. You didn't even talk to the woman. You got to get her pregnant to get being child support. You ain't supposed to be doing that no way. A lot of the stuff with the data shouldn't be you anyway. Well, the violent crimes. Don't be violent. All the men are fat. Yes, they are. I'm not. All the men ain't making no money. Go make some money. All the women leave. Stop talking to those. Be this man and stop talking to those women. That's an easy fix. Well, not easy because you're just not going to do it. I know you. You're not going to do it. You're going to be on one of these dust panels in 6 months. Child support. Nah, the women's only want high value 6 figure. And then I'm going to have to troll you. I don't know why it got to be like this, but this is how y'all made it. So I got to do what I got to do. That's all I got. Learn how to talk to women, communicate, listen, be effective, be attractive, then also go be successful. Let the rest of them victims who ain't going to do what they're supposed to do, that's their problem. They decided to be victims. Run them over and get to the ladies. That's all I got.
That's what's up, Dust, man. Hey, man, you know what you got to do. Tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
We won't be having a Dustosphere show this Thursday. I'll be going out of town to Alabama. But I can be found in the Dustosphere. The Dustosphere is a 30-minute show, improv-style comedy, and we usually rotisserie these very damn talking points and dust and all the stuff that goes on in the red pill, black pill, crack pill, YouTube, and just stuff that just goes on in general. But y'all are miserable. Y'all ain't smiled in 7 weeks. Look at you, the MGTOW. Come on the panels like that. God, miserable. Man. But even y'all, feminists, WGTOW, MGTOW, everybody is welcome into the Dustosphere. Black Men Unfiltered Network, Thursdays. But you also see me a lot of times on Black Men Unfiltered Network. Salute to Black Man.
Salute to Black Man.
Yes, I am wearing a white beater.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Then do some pull-ups, man. We'll see you over there, man. Appreciate you, bro. I'm going to holler at you, man. Please, on my pleasure, brother. My pleasure. And then we saved the best for last. Brother Mandrill, my favorite Green Beret. Craziest Green Beret I know. You know what I mean? What are your final thoughts, brother? Remember, it was disappearing men is the topic of the Tonight Show.
Disappearing men. Where are they going? You know what I'm saying? I mean, here's the thing, ladies. If men are disappearing, that's the question you need to ask. Where are they going? Where are they buying passports and getting women from overseas? Why? They say that women of the West aren't worth it. Yeah. Maybe you should listen and make some changes. If the men you want are looking for women elsewhere, maybe the problem is you. Because no man's going to put in that much effort to go find a woman without good reason. It's expensive. It's timely. It's time consuming. It's a hassle. There's a lot goes into that. I think you should open your minds and ears and actually start listening to what these guys have to say. And then evaluate yourself and ask yourself, do I really act that way? And don't say no. Actually think about it and watch, pay attention to yourself. And if you are behaving that way, make some changes. You know? And the number one reason why men of all races say that, you know, black women are the least desirable is because of your attitude. Every single man out there says that. You know, get some. Get some. To include myself, I say that, and I'm dating a black woman. So I recommend you all really look at yourselves. If you're not a wife, and don't just say you are because you think you are. Ask a man who knows you, and ask him, "You think I'm a wife?" And ask him to explain why he thinks you're a wife, and cross-reference that material with other sources, just so you make sure you're right. We can all make changes. You know what I'm saying? No one's perfect. All of us can stand to make changes, but we should need to all start with ourselves first, before we start looking at other people. Aside from that, learn to get along with a man. Learn to cooperate with one. Holy shit. Good grief. It really is just that bad, ladies. It's like pulling your own nails out. With some of you. I don't have that problem, but I'm observing this thing. But before I got into the relationship I'm in now, yeah, it's rough. Just please, ladies, get your shit together. That's it. And men too. Go make some money. Go make some money and hit the gym, fellas. Yeah, I got some smoke for the fellas too, DL. I ain't gonna do it now because I'm on the clock. I know, but I got smoke. Ladies, don't worry. It ain't just you. I got plenty of smoke for the fellas. Plenty of smoke.
Yeah, and come on Thursday, we're gonna be talking about the masculine burden.
Masculine burden.
Yeah, like and Sister Candace, what's the term again? Daggone it, I just forgot it again. The male. I think I put it in my
and shout out to Cody as King. How'd you get him to cam up, by the way?
Because I'm the man. Yeah, I mean,
Cody, you owe me. Cody, you owe me.
There it is right here. The burden of performance, the masculine burden of performance. There we go. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate that. The masculine burden of performance. Thursday night, right here, we're going to have Brother Viking. Make sure you try to be available, brother. 6 o'clock, if you can be available. Where can people find you again, bro?
On the Black Man Unfiltered Network. On most of our, the vast majority of our broadcasts there. Except my show is on Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. 8:30 Central Standard Time every Wednesday night. Doing a show tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be about though. It's probably going to be about how men and women can work together. It's probably going to be about that. My sister's going to be out of town, so she won't be there. So it might be just me, or it might be me and DL. If DL ain't available, it might be somebody. We'll see.
I'm always available for you, brother. You know what it is.
Appreciate it.
Always available for you. So there it is right there, brother Mandrell, man. Y'all know where to find you. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in a couple minutes. I'm going to be over there on Talk That Talk Tuesday.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here, brother. My pleasure. The honor is mine. Peace.
Later.
And there we have it, y'all. You know what I mean? And there we have it. Great show. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This show turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Because I just saw that news story on CNN. And I just had to react to it. Again, happy birthday to brother Michael Yice. It's his birthday out there. He ain't telling us how old he is, man, because he's scared of birthday licks. You know what I mean? Birthday licks, bro. I don't know where you from, but in my hood, you never tell nobody it's your birthday because you get a punch for every year, bro. I'm so old now, man. People been passed out. They can't punch all the way up to 52. You know what I mean? But we was, boy, it's your birthday. Ooh, birthday licks. Well, happy birthday to you, man. Thank you so much for supporting the brother. Support everyone you support out there, man. I see you in these trenches, man, making it happen. I just want to, here we go. Want to catch up with the chats. You know what I mean? Let's see. I'll just start here. If I miss some, I'm sorry. I like to highlight every chat, even if I don't read them all. This was a good one. I'm just gonna highlight all these chats and then I'll do my quick final thoughts. I wrote down a couple notes of my final thoughts will be quick, y'all. Real quick. But Miss Globe Girl, Miss AKA Lady, Sister Candace, thank y'all, Sister DeSosa. You know what I mean? Thank all of y'all. Sister Red was in here. I love it when the women join us because we need to hear what's going on in y'all world, in the female world. We're men, we don't know. We need to hear that. I truly appreciate y'all. I do. You know what I mean? I can't thank you enough for coming through and be willing to share. Miss AKA Ladies actually come up on some panels, which was always a great thing. You guys are always super active in the chat. You know what I mean? Like right here, Miss Globe Girl. I really don't care where they go and what they do. Just stop trashing women while they're doing it. That's something I work on too, man. Like I tell these guys, you know what I mean? It's not the women, bro. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Y'all know I say it all the time and I mean it. Don't hate the players, hate the game. Get your game up and all will be well. But men, a lot of y'all just don't even understand, man. A lot of y'all don't deserve to be with any women, bro. You can't be a basement dweller and be sitting here talking about I don't want to eat like the big dog. I want to eat like the king. You a peasant. You got to work yourself up to the king. Miss Glow Girl Mandrell is so much more pleasant these past few weeks. Yeah, because he got a boo. He booed up. That's what that's what that Love Jones can do, gentlemen. Absolutely. It's nothing like being with a woman that you into and you know she's into you, bro. There's nothing like it in the world. And for those of y'all who want to know what it feel like, that's never felt that, work yourself up. Here are my final thoughts. Men need a tribe, gentlemen. The one thing I took away from that CNN piece is that men don't have friends. Men don't have a tribe. It blew my mind. I didn't understand that. Now that really answered a lot of questions. Gentlemen, you cannot be on your own. And get this Sigma stuff out of your head. You need a crew. You need a tribe. You need a clique. You need a clan. You need a gang, whatever you want to call it, a team of men. You need to have that, bro. I'm not saying you need them to go places. You still got to be your own man and walk the walk, but you have to be able to fellowship with like-minded men of honor and respect like you. You need that. How do you get it? You get it how you can. If you can get it from YouTube, fine. If you got to pay to be a part of something, go ahead and invest in yourself. Go ahead and do it. Right? If the war room is for you and it helps you, then go ahead and spend that $5,000, $6,000, whatever they're asking to be in the war room. If it can help you. If being a part of Fresh Prince CEO's new network, if that can help you, give you access to like-minded men who are gonna be there for you, go ahead and invest that $100 a month. Right? But what you really need, you need to get out here and find your own crew. I can call on Mandrell. I could call on Dusto. I could call on Tarus. I could call on Hayoka, right? I could call on Brother Cody. I could call on any man in this chat, Brother Jose. You know what I'm saying? Brother Michael. I could call on Sister Candace. I can call on people. You need to have that, right? And then there's like my real people who like protect me. There's my immediate circle, Jay Swans, my cousins, and other people I done came up with. You must have that to find success, gentlemen. You must find that. You got to do it. Where did I come up with my first friends in school? Playing football, playing baseball, going out to the park, hanging out. Yeah, we were thugged out. You know what I mean? It was what it was, but I grew out of it. But I always had a clique. I always had a clan. I'm not saying go out here and join no gang, real gang. Don't join a criminal organization. I'm not saying that. But you need to go out here, build yourself up, get yourself a team. And from there, you can conquer the world. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end this show, man. Thank y'all so much for being here. This was fun. Thank everyone who showed up, everyone who was on the panel, everyone in the chat, all my day ones. I love each and every one of y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This helps me in more ways than y'all will ever know. You know what I mean? For real, for real. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. Man, I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.